Hey buddies.
Hey buddies, welcome to Video Games Awesome Live. We are on the eve of heading to Japan. We've told everybody there's a big announcement today. And this is it. Becky and I are moving to Japan. The boys already know. We've known this for about a month now. We made the decision about a month ago. We are not joking. We are moving to Japan. We've been dying to tell you guys.
Yeah.
24 hours.
And I put up these vlogs because you're watching a man who's falling in love as you see that. Basically, long story short, I am absolutely head over heels in love with Japan. We've been there twice. About 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, we went there for the first time because of Fangamer for the Igarashi-san's Kickstarter finale show. We went there with 24 hours notice. Never really desired to go to Japan. We didn't
really?
when I was in high school, I was like, oh, what a kooky, weird place. It would be crazy to go visit Japan. As I went to college, started to be like, I don't know. I think I
Has got it all.
no, it's just mainly I was like, that's typical, and like everybody thinks it's kooky, but like, that's kind of like stereotypical. And then so that kind of like that went away, and then we got this opportunity. We went over there, and it was probably the best way that we could have gone because we had no expectations.
No
we jumped
planning.
in, had the craziest weird experience, and it was amazing. And we have to thank you, Skay, and some of our fans who we met over there for giving us one of the best first experiences.
Robin, Caitlin,
And
Tyler.
yeah, all of these guys for giving us our first experience. We went back because we loved it so much. We wanted to see it again. At this point, no inkling that we wanted to move to Japan. We're just
Even taking Japanese classes, I had no idea.
no. At that point, we were just like, you know what? I loved it so much. Let's just go every year. We went through this trip. We went there. We loved it so much. We were like, we got to come back twice a year. There's so much to see.
Yeah.
This will just be our project. We will become people who go to Japan twice every year. We'll see every city. We'll see everything. Then, once we came back from this one, and I was on the plane, kind of looking at I got the online, in-air Wi-Fi, and I'm sitting there, and I find myself looking at flight prices for the next time that
He
we
was
want to go.
literally
I was
being-
literally researching my next trip. And then that was just the start of it. Then Becky and I, every so often, as couples do, we were just like kind of like sort of like punting little things at each other, like, "Hi, would it be crazy if we just lived there?
That
Wouldn't it be
was
easier?
That would be so crazy.
It'd be so much easier if we just lived there, right?" And then like
travel.
that just kind of snowballed and started to get serious, more and more serious, until finally we were just watching videos on Japan one day, just like random YouTube videos. And this one comes up from a realtor who actually lives in Vancouver, surprisingly. I'll find his channel and link it, because this guy basically was the final nail in the coffin, as his video randomly came up and he says, "Did you know you can own a single detached house in one of the 9 wards surrounding Tokyo for $200,000? And I was like, that's impossible. That's fucking impossible. We watch it.
It's $500,000 in
Because-
Vancouver for the cheapest house.
No, it shouldn't even be. That's not even a house. That's a
that would be a lot,
property.
and that's if you're lucky.
That's a
Maybe.
one-bedroom condo.
Long story
Maybe a
short,
one-bedroom.
we didn't believe it because
It's not a
we,
bachelor
like so many
condo.
people,
Yeah.
believe the myth that Japan is insanely unaffordable. It turns out their bubble burst in the 90s and it never recovered, and the housing, real estate, and we don't even want to buy a house. We just basically, we saw that video and we said, well, how much is rent? We plugged in what we pay for rent here, and we started looking at the houses on their rental market, and we were like, we can get even better place in
do
Japan
this.
for the same amount of rent that we pay here in the most insane housing market in the world right now, Vancouver. So, that said, it kind of made our decision. We were like, do you want to go to Japan? Do you want to move to Japan?
One morning I was like, I think we're moving to Japan.
I think we might be moving to Japan, and that's how it happened. This was about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months at most. You guys were really high on our list to tell, but we knew that we had to make it at the right time. We had to tell our families first. We had to tell.
How'd that go? You know.
Not so, like, I mean, Becky was more nervous about it than
I
she should have
almost
been,
had
I
a
think.
fucking heart attack.
She did okay.
telling my
It was
family.
okay. My mom was silent for a bit, and then she said, why?
My family was encouraging but very upset.
And to go back, and by the way, Becky and I are going to do a post show after this, after the boys leave.
Yeah.
We're going to do an FAQ with
You
you
guys
guys
are gonna
to
have
answer
a
all
ton
your
of
questions.
questions,
Right now, I
so
just want to
we're-
get it through. We wanted to do it all together.
Yeah.
Probably the number one question I want to address, though, while they're here. what's going to happen with the boys, what's going to happen with the show.
Well, we're being put down.
The boys are being
I'm not
taken to the
gonna
nearest
have-
vet.
I'm just gonna be on the streets.
We get to go to a farm and live out the rest of our
Like a
days
man.
running in the fields and peeing wherever we want.
Here's the thing. If things plan out the way that we expect that our new rent is going to be, based on what we are looking at, rent-wise, we're going to free up a large budget. Some of that budget can go towards flying the boys out perhaps once a year to come out for maybe a 1 week to 2 week stint, depending on their availability, where they will hang out and we will just go like fucking mad. We will get we'll do a bunch of foreplays, we'll do a whole bunch of fucking random shit. We'll do videos of them walking around Japan and doing stuff. But
Outrageous fun.
realistically, the show is going to change. It's still going to be Becky and I. We're going to move the whole setup over there. This is going to look the same.
Maybe we can be talking heads a la Japanese television.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that we will do teleconferencing shows where they come on and it obviously won't be the same as all of us in the same room. We're still going to make this happen. We're going to, it's just a change. It's a big change. It's a big life change, and it is a big change for the show. But I think that it's still going to be fun. We've made changes before, and I think it's going to be fun. We'll obviously do a big show and trailer every time. It's already when we do E3s, it's just Becky and I as it is. Maybe we'll do post E3 shows where we get on Skype and I show the boys the biggest trailers and we all sync up our videos and we all watch them together and we're all in a square together, and you still see their reactions and
Pretty rad.
we're all having beers wherever we are in the world. There were things going to be happening anyways as time went on. Kyle was probably going to be moving a little bit further away from us in a while.
It's
Possibility.
harder to
There's
get all
lots of
together. We're adults.
There's just no
We're
future
adults.
for any of us in
Adulting.
Vancouver.
The chances that we were
Ben's
all
already
going to
34,
stay
he's practically
exactly
dead.
together for
Yeah.
a long time
Think I'm
was
gonna last much longer?
Ben's going to the old age home.
pretty low. So we'll be heading. So that's pretty much it. This time next year, we'll be in Japan.
September
plan
September
is-
2018.
Yeah.
So we still have like a year.
We have
of
still a
regular
year to go.
shows.
We're going to get as many things
Lots
off the
of time.
laundry list as we can.
Lots of last times.
Let's address AVG. There
There's
will
lots
be
of questions about that.
an AVG update coming soon. Basically, you know what? AVG needed a due date for me because I could have spent. I'm going to give a thicker update for the people who have
scared.
paid for it, who have supported it on
Very
Patreon.
scared
But
of
long
this.
story short, it's my baby. And I got a little bit more emotionally invested in it than I thought I would after I made that trailer that announced it last year. And it's becoming much bigger and grander and complicated than I thought it was going to be.
Here's Mr. Holland.
And that's why it's been taking so long. Having a due date now is going to make it get done, and I need that fire. I need to know that I need to get it done in that time. And it's going to be kind of like the old days of AVG, to be frank.
Hard.
We always had kind of a very limited
Yeah.
window to shoot every time that we ever did AVG.
The boys
Yeah,
are
that's
living
true.
here for the summer, so we need to get
Yeah,
this shit
so
done.
it's going to
for
be
the
more
summer.
like
the
old
weekend.
days.
Yeah.
Instead of an
Bullshit load.
open-ended due date, it's going to be we're going to shoot a shit ton, and my goal is like a lot of episodes, like 3 seasons worth if we can. We'll see what happens, but I have a lot of ideas, and it's going to happen. It's going to be fine. Is something going on with
Twitch.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get the stream set up or fixed up, and we'll be right back. Can anybody see us anywhere?
Random shot of kids playing in the background. Pretty sweet.
Where are we? Twitch is gone?
Okay.
Is it just Twitch?
My computer died, so Mixer's working.
All right, so I'm just restarting the Twitch stream right now. Can somebody go tell Twitch what's going on?
Twitch is fine.
Somebody says Twitch is fine, which is crazy.
Twitch is working.
I'm on Twitch. Everything is perfect. Twitch is working for me.
So why
Twitch
did
is
it
working
fuck up
fine.
for some people?
And it's slow glitch.
It's kind of weird that it fucked up for some, but not others. Well, anyways, I hope everybody's fine on... Alright, we've restarted Twitch. Alright, here we go. Coming back now.
Coming back at you.
Alright guys, we're back, and I guess what else is there to really say besides AVG will happen, we'll get it done. The biggest difference with AVG now is it won't be edited as I planned. As we shoot, then I edit, it goes out. We shoot more, I edit, it goes out. It's going to be all shot at once, then edited while I'm in Japan, and you will see the episodes come out over the next 2 to 3 years instead of come out one episode like that. Frankly, it's going to be easier because of that. Can you guys all tell Twitch just to move over to Mixer? Just send them the link to Mixer and we'll all move over. Or refresh, we'll see. Is there anything else that we should address? Oh yeah, well, we should make one more announcement then that has to do with going to Japan. Put on your happy face, Becky. You're so much prettier when you're not. Becky and I are getting married because we have to. Basically, if anybody has been following the show for a long time, you know that in Canada, we have very strong common law laws. We've basically been married ever since we
We have
lived
all
together.
the benefits and rights.
Yeah.
The exact same benefits and rights as a married couple in Canada if you've lived together for half a year, basically.
Even the
God.
divorce rights.
Even
crazy.
all of it.
Yeah, it gets crazy real quick.
Some people in Canada don't like it
Real
because
fast.
it means that you actually technically have rights to somebody's estate.
really
just
gotta
like you
think
got
about
married
moving
after
in
6
with
months.
someone.
A lot of people
You
don't
do,
like
you
it.
totally do.
People don't
Yeah.
like that in Canada.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're getting married about August next year, around somewhere near that window.
Little in my parents'
The reason
backyard.
being that Japan
Little.
is the opposite of that. They do not recognize common law in any way, and it doesn't even make any sense for us to try to go to Japan without getting married first.
Yeah, it
They just won't
sounds-
understand if we don't.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightmare.
So there's that. That's it.
Strange.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say. It's going to be an extremely small thing. Our parents are happy because they'll get their token ceremony, but like, we don't give a fuck.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna be like cheap in
Yeah.
the backyard with like, I don't know, some shit that I can
We'll get
stick
burned
on my
with
You
body.
can
body.
flip their wolf.
We're
razor
both
blow.
keeping our own names.
Yeah.
Next.
Wait till you have a kid.
The next thing is, kitties. Here's the challenges we face going to Japan. Real quick, right off the bat, cats. Very hard to bring across. We're going to be starting that process right away. Getting a place is going to be very hard. The good thing is we don't need to live anywhere. We don't have to choose any spot in Japan, in Tokyo.
Yeah.
We're moving to Tokyo, by the way.
That shouldn't
Yeah.
be too hard.
It won't be hard because we have all the wards to choose from because we don't need to live near a workplace. The other thing is, how are we getting a visa? One of three ways. One, entertainer's visa, self-sponsored. Go over, tell immigration, hey, look, we're YouTubers. We want to be YouTubers in your country. This is how much we make. We want to pay tax to your government for free.
Of our government.
We're bringing, not only that, but we don't even want a job from your companies.
Yeah.
We're bringing money into your country.
We just want to give you money.
If that's one avenue, another one, to be frank, I'd rather this one because it could be the most convenient for us, the least amount of work. Sign up with an MCN. There are currently 3 major MCNs who are established in Japan who sign on Western English-speaking YouTubers who live in Japan.
Whoa.
Most of those YouTubers, I also think we might be the first one to actually do this. We know there are many YouTubers who speak English in Japan, but almost everyone I've ever found was already in Japan.
Yeah.
They were teaching English or they
they
had
were in
married a
school,
Japanese and they were in school and then they started a YouTube channel and then potentially then got a visa to be an entertainer. I have not found a channel that decided I'm an established YouTuber, now I'm in Japan as an established YouTuber. So we're going to be talking to MCNs. I've been researching these MCNs. They don't look so bad, but we will see. It all depends. Like I said, we're going no matter what. It depends on what kind of deal it looks like we might get. But the fact is, they can get us a visa without any work on our part. So that's one avenue we could go down. Lastly, if none of those things work, and the chances of none of that working is pretty low, but if none of it works, we start our own business and become business managers of our own business, getting a visa as a business manager. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, but it is almost an absolute option. $50,000 capital needs to be in a bank, which might come from some of selling everything we own, saving up over the next year. If we know we have to go that route, the guys have, I think you all agreed to, I think I ran this past you, holding off
money?
getting paid, holding off getting paid for the next year.
Yeah.
I think I told that to all 3 of you.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope it was to all 3 of you. I
It
remember
was while
telling
he
a
was
couple of
shaking
you.
our
at least.
hand very tightly and
Yeah.
saying, you agree to this, right?
If we know we have to go that route, the guys will hold off getting paid for a little while so that we can save up. You don't have to give the Japanese government $50,000. You have to park it in a bank account and say,
This is what
I'm
we
investing
have.
in my business when I start it. And then it gets released, then you can use it. But just getting that amount will be obviously a little bit of a
So you've already got it.
And that's it. I guess that's it, guys.
New deacon
Yeah.
there.
And we will do an FAQ after this. Once the boy, I just wanted the boys here for this big, kind of really big fucking change.
Yeah.
Because we're a unit.
I've never been so excited in my life. I am
Plus, Ben, you
so
wanna tell them about
fucking
our baby?
excited. I don't think.
Ben is pregnant.
I think it has to. It
He's
can't
about
be
8 months
understated
pregnant.
enough, guys, that it truly felt like falling in love, like infatuation that grew into like trying to snap yourself out of it. Looking at all the negatives, we've tried to talk ourselves out of it too. We've looked at all the bad things. We've looked at all the challenges. We're going. And then I guess the one last thing is there will be a potential that a new show will be started.
Ooh.
That we will start, obviously, when we're there.
Prank show, prank show, prank show.
It's going to be, we are going to be heavily invested in Japanese content. Becky and I are learning Japanese. We are going to travel a lot. We are going to vlog all of it. We may start, a show that like talks about everything from the major things, like showing you everything that like everybody knows about, to the everyday minutia of Japan. I want to go around taking beautiful videos and putting them together into montages, all kinds of things. So we're thinking of maybe one day in the future starting another Patreon, because no doubt if we start a second channel, which it'll probably be split into a different channel, there'll probably be a different audience, and we may split with different benefits, and we want to probably we've got some, and we're going to actually look to you guys to come up with ideas for what could be a part of a Patreon like that. But again, that's in the future. That's not something we're kicking off now.
Yeah, no.
We don't want to feel like skeezy about it either. To be like telling you guys B Turbo twice or anything like that. We're gonna come up with ideas and make it work.
Yes.
Anything else? Can you guys think of anything?
Nope.
I guess another reason we wanted to make sure that we told you before we went to Japan on our trip right now. We're going to be spending a lot of time. It feels like we would be biting our tongues. We've already been biting our tongues a lot. But it feels like we'd be biting our tongues during this whole trip, because this trip is basically not as much. We planned this trip before we knew we were
That's where
moving to
you're gonna be
Japan,
staying, Ben?
and now this trip went from vacation
Yeah.
to business
Yeah.
trip, because now we're going there to meet with the MCNs. We're going over there to research what neighborhood we might like to move
Yeah.
into. We're going over there to do and we're going over there basically as a trial run of the type of vlogging that we're going to do once
Yeah.
we move there. I'm glad you guys are excited. I was worried
too.
about more negativity than this, and I'm really happy that there's so much positivity.
Oh, just wait for
guys.
chat after the show.
So I'm really glad there's so much that you guys are excited. And I want you guys to be excited. And one of the biggest things is, I think that what you guys will see once we're over there, we're going to be more accessible than ever. We are going to be vlogging constantly. It's going to feel as though you have an insight, a window into our lives.
Yeah.
People have always said they wanted to see me doing more vlogs. I will be doing more vlogs now, and I will be showing you everything that we do, basically.
Yeah.
So that's it. I want to thank these boys for
Cool.
seeing us through to a new chapter, and they've been with us for the longest time, and they're still going to be with us, just in a different capacity, in a different way.
That's insane.
Yeah,
been
dude. That's a long
years.
ass time.
The fuck have we done with that?
There's no reason why it's going
Yes.
to end.
Yep.
But cheers,
all over.
everybody, and
That's an empty. That's a. This one's empty too.
it doesn't matter.
Oh, mine was.
And we hope you all come with us too, digitally.
Yeah.
All right.
That was spurned.
We'll kick around though after the boys leave. We're going to make sure that we're here to answer all your questions. Becky and I will sit with you for a little bit
Ah.
longer. All right, guys, we are back, and if you're just joining us, we have just made our announcement that we're moving to Japan, and we're ready to talk to you guys a little bit more in detail now that the boys are headed home,
Yes.
so they don't have to sit through all this minutia. Some of them I saw during the break were saying, seeing their faces in these videos makes me realize that this just makes sense. And
Thank you.
I will restate this, it took Becky a bit longer because she loves her family so much. I love my family, but Becky's a little bit more attached
We're
to visiting
super
them
tight.
constantly.
Yeah. I go home
And-
twice a year.
The proposition of moving there made her extremely nervous, and one of the biggest things was the convincing of Becky that all it means is a longer trip for you, basically. She has to suffer through a little bit longer flights.
Yeah.
But the fact is, flying across Canada costs about $600 now, round trip.
It's $750 for me to go home this Christmas.
And it costs about $800 to round trip Japan. It's kind of fucked up. Canada's a bit fucked up. So the budget to go home is almost the same. It's just that she has to sit through a 10-hour flight instead of an 8-hour, or I mean a 4-hour flight. So it's a bit more
And
trying.
I don't love flying.
She doesn't love flying,
I'm
but
okay
I mean,
with
who
it.
does?
Like, yeah.
So like the big thing is, and that's what she needs to convince her mom, and I think she's kind of worked on that. I've worked on mine and said like there's no real difference in terms of the world is a very small place these days because of flying. Becky looks sad right now. You're thinking about your family?
Yeah.
She was
I
very
love
nervous
them.
telling her family. So anyways, somebody in there during the break asked, did Fraser propose? I did not propose to Becky. That's the other thing if you're just joining us. We're getting married out of necessity to go to Japan because they don't recognize common law. It'll be much easier if we are simply married.
We've been together for 14 years.
We've been together 14 years.
We don't care about
the marriage, so don't act like it's a big thing, but I'm
Yeah.
glad you're happy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're as happy as I mean, my parents didn't even seem to really care that much either.
No. I had to message your dad and be like, yo, did you even hear?
Yeah.
And he was like, then he expressed how happy he was.
Yeah.
Stuff, but.
So.
And I'm not getting like an engagement ring. Like we're doing it super low key.
Yeah.
I don't care
We're
about
not spending
that
any money
stuff.
on it.
Like,
I will not wear an engagement ring because I
wedding
hate wearing
band.
rings. A wedding band.
I'm making our wedding bands actually out of quarters.
I will not wear one because I fucking hate shit on my hands. I always have hated it. I don't like it. I'm not going to wear one. Plus, how am I going to pick up a sweet fucking sweets girl
There
in
you
Japan
go.
if I don't have?
Yeah.
One of the things I tease Becky with frequently is on our last hour in Japan, I went to a sweets shop in the airport after we had had our sushi, and I went by and I walked in and was completely charmed by this Japanese woman who was probably actually about 2 years older than me. Walked in, I tweeted about this. I walk in and I'm looking at what they have and I go, I'll have, And then she goes, and she comes and stands next to me
That
and she
fucking
starts
floozy.
pointing, and she was just like so nice and like kind and gentle, like so many Japanese people. But like the way she pointed each one and read them out in English, even though they had English signs. But it wasn't like it felt too overbearing like some salespeople, like leave me alone. It was just like she was just so nice about it, but not cutesy in a Japanese cutesy way. It was just like she was a woman. She was just, but like,
Yeah.
And then she counted. Then I was trying to pay, and I was like going through all my change because I had so much left because of the trip. And she
And
like
you're trying to
she
get rid
says
of it?
she like takes it and she like pours it out and like counts it out for me. And I tweeted, I was just treated like a child at the sweet shop, and I loved it. Anyways, that's what I tease Becky about. Is I'm gonna go back and find sweets.
He's gonna be
sweets
if he
girl.
starts like doing a lot of flying without me.
If I start having departure trips so that I can go to the airport, if I
gonna get
start
suspicious.
showing up at home with leftover cinnamon buns, like,
This is from her, isn't it?
do you guys have any questions then?
They have a million.
All right, so just go ahead and we'll pick
Did
them
you
out
giggle?
as we go. Did you get another one of these openers?
Yep.
Video game arcades? Sure,
We're
we'll
gonna
do
still
that.
see video games.
Awesome Piece Theater?
PAX.
Well, let's just, okay, stop asking for a second then. I'll answer that one. What will happen to Awesome Piece Theater? For Patreon, we still want to give that benefit, obviously. We're thinking we might still watch movies with the guys. This isn't a promise. This could happen, though. We could set aside a day where we all get on like a Skype or a whatever other kind of video thing we can. Maybe watch movies together, but it's not a promise. That could be like an every so often things. It might not happen at all. It might happen every month. I'm not sure yet. Depends on the boys' availability and the logistics to it. But what you will see, what we do plan to do, Becky and I, is fill up Awesome Piece Theater with way more. Like, Becky and I might do tons of Awesome Piece Theaters where
We won't
we
have
watch.
any friends when we move.
We might,
get to know
yeah.
anyone.
Every
Well,
time,
we do.
potentially every time Becky and I watch a movie, we'll watch it with you.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't watch appropriate ones anymore. Maybe we'll watch brand new Blu-ray releases. I don't know. We
Hey,
might.
look at the shit all over the ground. Why is
That's
it
not
so
shit.
dirty
Those
there?
were white squares that were put in. That wasn't garbage.
Oh.
Anyways, we might we've already teased that
Oh,
we're going to
nice.
watch animes. That's going to help with our Japanese. We might watch One Piece. We all already said we wanted to start watching One Piece. So if anything, I think Awesome Piece Theater supporters, our Patreon supporters, may end up getting more content. Again, like everything's kind of up in the air about that. So I think that answers that question. Next question.
Pax.
Will we see Yusuke guest starring? I'm sure you're gonna see a
Yusuke.
bunch of Yusuke, but you'd have to ask him.
Yeah.
But I know that I like Yusuke and I want to hang out with him. So if he'll let me, I'm sure you'll see him in videos. I even thought, I kind of joked the other day to Becky that I'd start a new show called My Friend Yusuke, and I'll just show up to his house every so often, uninvited, and just be like, "Hey, Yusuke!" and just shoot like video of his day-to-day life, and it'd be called My Friend Yusuke.
Yusuke knows nothing of this.
Swiri guest star? Sure, I've already done a back and forth with him on Twitter, and maybe we'll end up seeing Swiri.
Yeah.
Sure. That's actually, let's talk about that. That's just like, a small question, but one of our biggest things that we're going to do over there, we might make one more trip between Halloween and moving there. We're thinking it might be near Bit Summit
Yeah.
in Osaka. We think that Bit Summit and the indie scene right now, the indie developer scene over there is growing fast, really fast. And Fangamer has just set up a factory or a distribution center
Yeah.
there because they acknowledge this too. The indie scene over there is getting big, quick.
Docomo!
And I think that this is a very interesting time to move over and kind of get in on the ground floor. We want to get to know people like Swiri. We want to get to know all kinds of Japanese devs. And I feel like it's going to give us an... Can you guys find us? This is actually a real question. I've been looking and I haven't found one yet. Find me a strictly gaming show that is in Japan, that is from a North American in Japan doing a gaming show. I've seen many Let's Play shows from Japanese people, even from Japanese people who speak English, but I haven't found one from somebody who is from here that does just a video game show like ours over there. So let me know sometime if you find them, tweet them to me. I honestly want to see them because I'd be very interested to know about them. It has been done. I haven't found one myself. When you say has been done, does it mean the person did it then stopped? They're done now or what? Because I haven't found one. Anyways, I know that some of the J vloggers have occasionally done a video game show, but they don't do them all the time. Like it's a thing that they did once or twice or something like that.
Right. How
Anyways.
much Japanese do we know?
At this point, I know about 200 kanji.
Yeah.
I know about 600 vocabulary words, but quick recognition and actual quick memory, probably like 200 vocab and maybe about 50 kanji. And it's building. My goal is within a year to know 2,000 kanji.
I could potentially be taking the N5 Japanese test in December, but I felt that it would be a fluke if I passed it, and I would want to do it again. I'm not quite at, and N5 is like pretty basic.
Somebody in there said they know an American YouTuber who moved to Japan for a while. I'll be very interested to see it because I think it would give me some good perspective because it's weird feeling like the first one to do it. So I'd like to see how somebody else did it. I'd be especially interested in channels that have shown what they went through when they did it.
A big question here is PAX trips and like Gamescom
PAX trips.
conventions.
All right, let's answer that then.
Okay.
We will come back probably once a year, I think. That's probably what I can guarantee. And I don't even guarantee that. But here's what I know for sure. Next PAX Prime will be skipped.
PAX West.
Our last PAX,
Sorry.
Our last
I'm really
PAX
sorry, guys.
before we move will be PAX South. There are still tickets available. This is actually a very big thing. Get to PAX South if you can, because that will be kind of like VGA Con. Like, it'll be our last farewell, kind of, before we come back. And we will come back, but we will be skipping PAX Prime next year because it's right when we move.
Yeah.
As a plus, we will be covering PAX. We'll be covering
Tokyo
Tokyo Game Show next year.
Yeah.
So that'll happen about the same time. But we will be skipping PAX Prime. Not a lot of turbos are able to even make it there anyways. But anyways.
PAX Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
PAX South is where everybody can go.
Yeah.
We think that we will aim for one PAX a year, one pilgrimage back to North America per year. And we'll probably combine it with a 3-point trip to go to see our family or something like that so that we save time and money.
I don't know about Gamescom.
Oh, Gamescom? Oh, Gamescom, there was no intention to go back for a very long time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That just like worked
Gamescom was a
perfectly
very
this time.
nice thing that happened because of very good prices and very good like coincidences, and we got there, we did it, and maybe we'll go again one time, but like, I mean, there's no
Would
plan.
you do PAX Australia?
It is technically
Oh.
closer to Japan than it is here, so that's a possibility. No real plans right now, but that's a possibility. If we did PAX Australia, it would probably be. We probably wouldn't cancel another PAX to do it. That
Yeah.
would be the second of a
Yeah.
year or something, so we wouldn't miss out on something else.
Park.
Somebody said everyone look how happy Fresh is in the vlogs.
It's ridiculous.
You guys-
Fraser's so fucking happy.
I'm
I'm happy too. I'm really overwhelmed, and I'm thinking about everything that needs to be done before we leave. Like, I'm a lot
Yeah.
more practical. Fraser's like just.
I get
over the
teary-eyed when I think about how much
Yeah.
I love Japan. I like get so happy that it hurts.
You're gonna be so upset when we come back after this. Like,
After this trip, yeah.
I'm worried about coming back after this. We have so much
I'll be
work to
fine.
do. So I guess that's
Let
where
me
we can
just
talk about. Oh,
Inject and stop taking questions for a moment just to say what, like, the number. I'll do a vlog where I go in detail and it'll just be me talking to you nice and like, so I can organize my thoughts. But one of the biggest things why I want to move to Japan is the Japanese people. They are so fucking nice, and I don't care if people say like it's part of the culture and it's not completely genuine. A lot of even Japanese say that about themselves. They're like, how genuine are we when we're honest?
Yeah.
Or when we're being nice.
Yes.
A lot of Canadians say that about each other, like how genuine is the Canadian politeness. I don't care. It makes me feel good. Everywhere I went, I feel like anytime I go anywhere here, and Japan, I mean, Canada's nice, and I've been to cities that are far ruder than Canada, but compared to the Japanese, Canadians are rude. And I feel like whenever I go out, I get hung up on shit so badly that if I get somebody rubs me the wrong way during a day, it affects me for the rest of the day. That's my problem, but despite it being my problem was solved there. Even in this neighborhood, which I didn't even really like this neighborhood. This is
Yoyogi?
near Shibuya, just outside of Yoyogi.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of higher end, classy shops.
Right, yeah.
Lots of crowd. And
Yeah.
they weren't like the same kind of crowd we saw everywhere else. They were all kind of like fashionable people, and they're all like, and I still was okay with it. I was like rolling with it.
Yeah.
This is Koenji. Oh, that's Shinjuku. Anyways, I think I'm going to be so happy. There was an article I read, and I'll be repeating a lot of this in my vlog when I do it, but an article I read about this woman who is an amazing article because she talked about starting her own business in Japan. And she starts the article by saying that a friend of mine once said to me, you don't choose a city, a city chooses you. And when I read that line, I was like, it's so fucking true. It's just so fucking true. I felt like Tokyo chose me when I got there. Like, it was just where I was meant to be. One of our friends that we met, who was a fan of the show that we hung out with over there, Kaylee, said when we were hanging out one of our last night in Tokyo, and I was just saying, this place, it just feels like, it feels right. And she's like, right? She's like, you know, like, it just, doesn't it feel like you just were meant to be here? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And, so
We know Rachel
says,
and Jean.
you're moving to Japan, I never met you in person. I'm crying now. We're not dying. We're still gonna travel everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna still be going to things.
And I understand people who can't get behind this and can't be positive about this, and I'm sorry.
I'm sorry
But-
I think you'll come around. You're gonna come
if you
around.
don't,
if
maybe
you don't,
you
that's fine.
won't.
I think you're gonna come around
Yeah.
as you see. One of the things Becky and I have been discussing, we're like, how's the show gonna change? How are we gonna make up for the guys not? I know that the guys being here, and again, I'll reiterate, the guys will still do shows. They're gonna do the odd show. We're gonna do like maybe seasonal, like every 3 months. I can't promise every month, but I'm gonna see. I think that we'll do shows where
I'm not scared.
we're gonna do shows like hanging out casually online or something like that. But in addition to that, to make up for the fact that they're not coming, it'll be true. They're not gonna be here as often. They're not gonna be on the show as often, even remotely.
Yeah.
I think that we're gonna involve you guys a bit more, possibly. I think that we're gonna do more things like the Overwatch shows, but this doesn't mean more Overwatch. This just means more shows where we like the Friday the 13th show where we play with turbos. Maybe, do you guys ever remember that show right before the new systems came out where I did a round table with a bunch of turbos who came in and talked to me on Google Hangouts? Maybe we'll do more stuff like that. You're going to see more vlogs from me. You're going to see... I'm going to really knuckle down, and the show is changing, so we're going to change with the show. We're going to make it... We're going to make sure that we keep you guys around. We're going to try to continue to entertain you.
Yeah.
We're not going to want this to become a shitty, like a... But I will acknowledge...
What the fuck is going on there?
Oh, we're pretending to be... we made the joke, I need a vacation from my vacation.
Oh, yeah, lame.
I'm not going to... I mean... Pragmatically, there are going to be a lot of you who are like, the guys aren't on as much, and it kind of, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the show is changing.
Yep.
The show changed away a long time ago from being edited shows. Oh!
It's fucking wrecked.
I'll
here.
mention that
I'm
in a
so
second.
tired.
We were very tired. It went from being edited shows to not edited shows. Some people didn't like that. It went from being Ben, Becky, and I to just Becky and I because Ben got a better paying job. And some people didn't like that.
Yeah.
Some people love Becky and I shows, long hauls, very long hauls. The show changes, and I hope you can grow with us. And I hope that even if it doesn't feel like you want to be around as much as you used to be, I hope you'll still check in with us every so often.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I'm not letting Becky speak
No,
much.
that's okay.
This is what I do. Anyways, one thing the fact of the matter is the boys are going to be freeing up a budget. They won't be paid as much, so the Patreon budget will be bigger for Becky and I. I want to spend that budget. I'm not just going to pocket it. I'm thinking, possibly, I can maybe pay some editors to get the edited shows back. Maybe our long hauls you're going to see maybe truncated short shows again. The fact is, I can't do those. My wrist won't allow it. My time won't allow it. I can't do edited shows. But maybe with that freed up budget, I will be able to pay some editors to make it so that every show we do will become a bite-sized chunk. That if you are too busy, you'll be able to watch and keep up with the show. Again, that's just an idea. We have many ideas, just punting them out there. This is us on our way back to Narita.
We haven't talked about awesome video games yet.
about
we
Baby Hank?
did kind of talk about awesome.
We did talk about awesome video games.
It's good. It lights a fire under our ass. We gotta
a
go
bigger
and get
update's
this
coming
shit
for you
done.
guys. You video games are awesome video games. Including a set tour coming, I think, hopefully tomorrow before we leave. We're gonna shoot it and get it out to you guys. Long story short, again, they're gonna get the long story because they paid for it or they're supporting us. But the long story short is, awesome video games became a bigger thing than it was meant to be because of my love for it, and I've felt
He's got
that
some phenomenal ideas for it.
no time felt like the right time to give you a set tour because it's always being developed, and no time felt like the right time to tell you about what I have in store
This is the last day you wore that shirt.
until I
You
lost
lost it there.
So that's that. If you want to know more, support us on the AVG Patreon. Again, none of those AVG patrons have given us $1.
No.
So we technically don't owe anything, and that's another reason why I've been kind of sparse with updates, because we haven't taken any money. So, it happens when it happens. And I
Probably
thank
still have
everybody for your
messages.
support, but it happens when it happens, really, when it comes down to it.
You'd
You'd think I'd be eager to start swallowing up all that cash, right? But somehow my love for the show kind of ended up outweighing the quick money grab.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 questions. Do we know the time that we'll be streaming? And I forget what can we expect a change in showtimes? I can't remember the second one now.
So anybody who's been following us over the years knows that our showtimes went from sort of reliable to a little less to completely random.
Yeah.
They will continue to be completely random. I can tell you right now in Japan it is 8 o'clock a.m.
Or 3 a.m. No.
It's
4,
minus 8.
7, 6 p.m. 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
It's 8 a.m. It's 8 hours minus from ours.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Noon minus 4
7
is
p.m.
8.
It's 6
Somebody go. Hey Siri, what
6
time is it in
a.m. or-
Tokyo right now?
a.m. or 6 p.m.
Fucking never works. It's 8 a.m.
Aw, shit.
Anyways, So when it's like, when do we do shows now? I would like to actually see stats of how often we go live, what our most popular live time is.
Oh, I have it all.
What do you guys
in
feel
my
like, just off the top of your
calendars.
head? What do you think we go live the most at? What is our most common live time? I would guess, like, on average is like anywhere between 4 and 7. Sure.
7
So
p.m.
7 p.m. our time would be about. If we went live at 7 o'clock there,
11 a.m.
it means we would be going
Yes.
live at 12, 1, 2, 3, 3 a.m. That would be bad for you
Oh,
guys.
okay.
Maybe we'll shift it a little bit. We do want to go live when we actually have people watching,
Yeah.
so late shows are probably a less likely
That's
thing.
so hard to
However,
predict.
super late shows might be a thing. Maybe we will go live at midnight's our time, and you guys will watch at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern could work for some people,
Yeah.
which would be,
We do shift through the year. Like, we don't know what.
in that case,
Our schedule.
Europeans would be really happy. Going live at midnight would be 4 p.m. for Europeans.
Oh, yeah.
We'll work with it. We're going to
Yeah.
try to make sure people are watching, obviously, so we'll see what happens. But it'll be different, sure. It'll definitely be different.
Are we going to bring lots of stuff? No.
We're planning on selling as much as we can. We found out that one thing you can't sell is your mattress. We have a really nice mattress that we invested in a long time, like 3 years ago. A very amazing
Dude, that was like 6 years ago.
$1,000 memory foam mattress that we're very proud of because it was like a big investment for us, and like we loved we were like, oh my god, I'm so glad we did this. You can't sell that, and it costs about anywhere from, the quotes I've seen, from $400 to $1,000 to ship a container over. Well, that's the cost of the mattress that I can't sell. So it's possible we will end up filling a container with some things. Hell, we could bring this couch.
Have it VGA auction.
This is a $3,000 couch that we bought for like $1,000. I feel like I don't want to get rid of that.
They were asking about that, actually.
So it's possible we're going to get a container, a shipping container, fill it up with some of the big items. But for the most part, expensive items, I don't really want to put in a shipping container. We'll probably sell a lot of equipment. Here's one thing that I can tell you about. During the transition time from this to Japan, you're going to see the show is going to not be the same way that you remember. We will shut down all long hauls because we don't want the long hauls to be in the format that we will transition to, and that will
During
be.
the transition period, right.
You can help me out. You work for DHL, but if you have any discounts, tell me.
Or tips.
We will be in a window for a while. If what we will get for our very, very early place will be an Airbnb that accepts pets, while we spend the time waiting to find the perfect place to shoot the show in again and set up our proper green screen again. So there will be a time that could range from anywhere from a month to 6 months where you will see us at a table with good lighting. You know me, guys, I'm not going to phone it in, but through necessity, we will probably be in a square like every other YouTuber out there. I'm sorry, we'll be slumming it for a while.
Yeah.
We won't look like
The
this.
cats will be on the show.
But that's as a side bonus. Kitties will probably show up constantly, so
Yeah.
that's a side bonus.
Can you believe that? Kitty's on the show. That's crazy.
Yeah, kitties on the
I know. As for turbo gifts, like, we have a lot of really special things that we don't want to sell. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill, my plan is to get 4 big Rubbermaid containers. And my sister-in-law's parents live here, but they drive to where my family lives every year. So I'm going to fill them, give them to them, and we'll get like a storage container or just store it at my family's house in Ontario. So some of that stuff won't be with us right away. Another question is, what's the time frame for our stay in Japan? How
do you
long
mean?
are we thinking about staying in Japan for?
Somebody asked that?
Yes.
It's indefinite.
Depends on who you ask.
It depends on how you ask. Becky's convincing herself right now that it is a couple of years.
2 years is what I'm like, we're going to try to do it for 2 years and see how it goes.
Uh-huh. I want to be there forever. So, it will be about an immovable object hitting an unstoppable object. The fact is, I told Becky tells herself 2 years because she wants to convince herself that if she can't handle it, if she doesn't want it, she won't have to stay.
Yeah.
I told her I love her more than I love Japan, despite how much I love Japan. So if she can't make it work, I will, obviously, we will let it work for her.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think that, like I said, our budget is, we're going to make sure in the budget that she sees her family as much as she needs to.
The other thing is, when we moved to Vancouver, I felt the same. Like, because I'm so tight with my family.
That's the thing.
And we moved here in 2007, and I didn't think I'd make it to the Olympics in 2010 because I was so fucking homesick.
Yeah.
And then I made it beyond that 3-year point, and then
It got easier
started
and easier.
feeling like home.
And every
it was
time you went home, you realized that after 10 days, you're like, I'm okay to go home.
Yeah.
Like, type of thing. Her trips home will probably be a bit longer now, but the main thing is, she, like, once Becky started to realize that all it really means, I don't know if you've still realized this yet, but I keep on trying to get this through your head.
What's that?
It means 8 hours longer on the plane, but there's no reason why she's not going to go home just as much as she did before. The distance is definitely longer mentally, but there's no reason why it's longer, like, practically.
Yeah.
It's a longer plane trip, but budget-wise, like we said earlier, $600 to travel across Canada, it is like $850 to travel round trip to fucking Japan. Canada sucks for its trans-country flights. It sucks. And
It does.
sometimes Japan, you get a crazy deal in Japan for $500 to go to Japan. I can't remember one sale happened recently to go across Canada, but otherwise sales
it was for Canada 150, so that's not going to happen.
It was for our
years.
150th anniversary. Sales to get across Canada, and they limited those tickets too, like crazy.
Yeah, they
Sales to get across Canada don't happen. Sales to get to Japan for $500 happen like twice a year, according to this deal site we follow. It's kind of sad how bad it is to fly across Canada. So, budget-wise, it's not a huge difference. Time-wise on the plane, you're going to get less sleep. It'll be a little bit more tiring.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. There's no reason why you're going to see your family any less. Anyways, that answers that, I think.
I just really love my
But I guess the
family.
main question was, how long do you want to be there?
Yeah.
I see my future in Japan right now.
Fraser thinks that raising kids in Japan would be amazing.
We're gonna have a kid one day, and I think that it would be could you imagine being a kid of 2 YouTubers growing up in Japan? That kid's gonna be the weirdest and most amazing kid ever. Have the weirdest backstory. Anyways, no, fuck this, stop it. All right, you guys ruined it. We're off the kid discussion. Moving on. Aw, kid talk.
Ugh. As for the wedding thing, though, they were asking if it was going to be live streamed or something. No. I don't think so. Like, it's
let our families have this.
Yeah, this is kind of really it's for our parents. Like,
you know what? We'll take some photos. I'll keep the 360
care.
cams in my pocket. I'll do a couple shots. We'll maybe even, like, at some point after the ceremony or something, I'll toss up a drone and like get a shot of it or something. But we're not live streaming it. It's for our folks more than anything, the ceremony. If it wasn't for our folks, we would literally just go to an office and say, we're married now, sign a thing, and walk away. Yeah. But it's going to make our parents happy. So I'm sure there will be photos, but like, no, this is for them, not for you guys. I'm sorry.
Keeping the AVG set in Vancouver still?
It'll be disassembled.
Yeah, when we leave, we're like
when we're gone, we're gone.
From Vancouver.
Like I said again, about AVG, my plan is to shoot a shit ton and to get, like, basically see AVG to its another tentative end. And we know that these things it doesn't end. That last end was the end. But, like, so it's not saying AVG ends, but we will get to a thing that feels like a conclusion to that chapter.
Dude, like, half my cousins aren't even invited.
Yeah.
I have 52 cousins.
Any other questions? Are you guys bringing Baby Hank? Sure, we'll bring him. Yeah, of course. We can't give up things like that. Like, some of those things... yeah, we're gonna... Like, I really think the container will happen, and we'll bring some things. Do goldfish exist in Japan? I don't know. Miyamoto on a couch? Probably never. What is... Are
we gonna start playing... That was the other question, is, are we gonna be playing games in Japanese or in English when we go to Japan?
Will the crew up be at the wedding? They're invited. We'll see what happens for their schedule. Yeah. Japanese or English? As we learn well, this is one of the exciting things. This is why I want my plans to be in Japan to be indefinite. I want to be in Japan and become. My goal is fluency.
Oh, fuck yeah, we'll be open with you.
And who knows, we might play some Japanese games and translate them on the fly to you guys once I get good enough. That's like years in the future, where I get not only to the point of fluency, but then able to translate Japanese language. That's completely different.
Yeah.
Fluency is one thing, Japanese is another. Like translating it back is another. Being able to explain things that don't make sense in both languages. But I'm sure that we'll be able to hobble our ways through some games that aren't text heavy at some point, play some obscure old titles. We'll take you guys to fucking Super Potato live, maybe even walking through Super Potato. We'll pick out retro games that only exist in Japan and play them on our Japanese, or on our Famicom, and we'll show you obscure Japanese games. Sure, let's fucking make this a Japan show.
Do we have the old couches? Yes, we do. We have this one, we have the black one over there, and we have the like beige one.
All the coaches are
80s
still
set.
here. Yeah.
Will we be doing show and trailer monthly? Will we be doing show and trailers, just you and I?
So here's the thing about show and trailers. For a long time, I've been thinking. That's a good question. I've been for a long time saying, like, you've been seeing this. Becky and I have been starting to do like these emergency show and trailers. I think that you're going to see non-stop show and trailers from us. We're going to possibly reformat the show in a way that maybe even before we start shooting each day, we do like every day, like sort of sit down where we're like, what's in the news today? We look at every new trailer that came out based on maybe even your suggestions. We look at maybe even videos, maybe even they're not trailers. Maybe you guys send us the newest like edit of Jeff Kaplan or something edited to music or something. Like maybe we'll just watch fan videos and we'll sit here for half an hour each day just hanging out watching YouTube. That's the idea behind that, is that we would just simply do a daily news show. Not news though, because we will be seeing it for the first time too. We'll be relying on you guys to send us links and be like, all right, somebody says this is watchable, and we watch it.
Can they get a studio tour before we go?
Yes, I promise you that. You will get a studio tour. I will show you what was behind the scenes the entire time.
You're gonna see a bunch of it in the Nightmare
Sure.
360.
If any of those
footage,
videos
actually.
survived, I don't know what the fuck happened with all that.
Yeah. Host sponsors are usually Foreplay Friday. And
Okay,
show
that's a
trailers.
thing. There you go. That actually addresses a real concern with this.
Yes.
This show's Patreon. Host sponsors are going to get. Okay, first of all, we're about to hit a point where how many people are show sponsors?
I think it's
Or
about
host sponsors?
80.
80 people are about to become host sponsors because they saved up over time by contributing to the Patreon for so long.
It's 80, yeah.
80 people. Obviously, we don't do enough shows to sponsor a host. What's going to happen is host sponsors are going to be sponsoring Becky and I. We will simply be sponsored. You get to send a message from Becky and I to tell the camera, but the fact is, if you save up, you're only going to get Becky and I, basically. Maybe if we do these like remote shows, the boys can still be sponsored to be brought in through remote. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not promising you how often we're going to get them, but you could still maybe sponsor them remotely. Here's how it will work. Throwing down 150 flat, just saying, here's 150 bucks, that will always take priority. You will skip the line and you will get to sponsor one of the guys if you want them. Most of our show host sponsors have never cared who they sponsored.
No, they do.
So many of them, oh, they do?
Yeah.
A lot of them do? Okay, I thought that you were saying, like, I saw a lot of people who said, I don't care. But anyways, the fact is, if you save up, you're still getting a host sponsor, but you don't get a choice unless somehow the guys have been freed up because nobody's been paying $150 anymore. But realistically, it's impossible for you to get who you want. You'll get Becky or me for most of them. So basically, every show from probably that point forward will be sponsored, host sponsored.
Yeah.
Becky and I
Yeah.
will be thanking a person throughout the show from that point forward.
Book
And that's
Club's
cool.
still on for show.
What is?
Book Club.
Yeah, sure. Less fan meetups. I mean, we barely do any as it is. I mean, we still go to play. Like, I mean, fan meetups. We just do 2 a year now, right? Like, we go to PAX,
Yeah.
then we
Go to PAX there, then go to PAX.
we go to 2 PAXs, so 2 a year.
Yeah.
Potentially there'll only be 1 a year. Maybe there won't. Maybe there'll be 2 a year still. I don't know. Like, I mean, really, when you think about it realistically, we only do 1 real fan meetup a year, and that's PAX South. the number of people who can get tickets to PAX Prime are so few. It's such a small meetup.
It is pretty small.
And it's often the
It's
same
like
people every year.
Yeah, it's like
So,
a small little family.
It's nice. I
meetup.
love them, but
Yeah.
realistically, we only really
2020 Olympics meetup.
currently we
Yeah.
only really do one a year, and that's PAX South.
And we're
Becky's
gonna
trying to
try
soak
keep
in
doing
every question, I can tell.
it. Yeah, I am. I'm like
Um,
sticking them in there.
okay, somebody just said Japan meetups. Here's another thing. If you come to Japan, we can pretty much guarantee we will. Okay, when we've been living here for a while, and people have come to Vancouver and kind of hinted at us like, "Hey, I'm in Vancouver," and we're like, "Yeah,
Cool,
no,
that's cool.
that's okay, that's fun, that's all right, that's fun."
No.
We don't really want to meet people in our hometown. It just feels too familiar. It feels too close to home. It feels like we often say like, that's cool, that's fun, like, you know, and Becky gives them the fucking spreadsheet of places they should go.
Yeah.
But there's something about being in Canada, we've never really wanted to like do a thing here. In Japan, I feel like it's going to be different. I feel like if you come to Japan, I'm even thinking that I'm sure that our show will convince a lot of people to come to Japan because of how many videos we'll do. We'll probably encourage you guys to come, if you're going to come to Japan, aim at like this particular time each year, and fans all go at once.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to go to
That'd be fun.
Japan, why not go with a bunch of co-fans at the same
Yeah.
time? And I would say a good idea would be like you know, a target for people to aim at if they're planning to go to Japan, so that they can all go and we can all go to Nizakaya together. I'm not saying I'm going to go around and hang out with you everywhere you go. I'm just saying, like, I will go and
Touch
drink with
base,
you.
yeah.
We will hang out. VJ Japan cons. Sure. It just feels, for some reason over there, like it's more of an easy thing. Here, it just felt like it just felt weird, I think, to hang out with people in our own city.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something too close about that.
Lupu mentions Japanese drinking culture. I think that may be a reason I fit in to Japan. I like to drink. If you don't drink, it would probably feel really odd in Japan. I mean, you could still have a lot of fun, I think. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things to see if you drink, if you don't drink. But in Japan, I feel like a non-drinker. I almost feel sorry for anybody who can't drink or doesn't want to drink. In
Yeah.
Japan, basically, I even read stories about people who don't drink and how their careers were limited by it in Japan. If you don't drink and you can't go
crazy.
drinking with the boss,
Sums up
your
Scotland.
career will literally be limited. It's a very much a drinking. It definitely counts, Nulani. They love whiskey these days. They're really starting to grow. They really love to drink. Drinking culture is huge there, and
I can't drink and I still have fun at South Beach.
Yeah, no, you can
Yeah.
easily have fun there. I'm saying to live in Japan, to work, to get a career in Japan. I feel sorry for anybody who doesn't drink.
I love beer.
Beer's gross though. Why?
I used to think that too.
Don't have to be sad, Azur. You can still come to Japan and have a great time. Izakayas are amazing for their fucking yakitori. Grilled chicken. Everything is delicious there. Or you can order a hoppy, which tastes like beer but doesn't have alcohol in it.
But I think people,
As long as you don't put the shot in it.
yeah,
All right, we'll
Don't
teach
like
you
to
about
drink
that
the
when we
beer.
go to Japan.
they don't like the taste of beer.
Well, get over it. All right. Any other questions?
So many.
I feel like Becky has some anxiety right now. Do you feel like this is a huge leap?
Well, the thing is, I have to work on those costumes for tomorrow, and I'm
Oh,
like,
you wanna
I have
get done
so
this?
much. No, I want to spend forever doing this.
Okay.
I was just thinking about how much I do. I do have anxiety
I
problems.
feel like Becky was more nervous to tell you guys than she was her family. I honestly feel that.
No, I was way more nervous
Okay,
for my family.
all right.
That was awful. So they're asking how do you really feel about going, and I do have a lot of anxiety about it.
Becky is definitely like she's less head over heels. First
Yeah.
of all,
I do love it. I think about, like, I'm all about planning. So I have all these things in my head that need to be done before then. And if we're not moving on them, like, now, I'm like, but we have a year to figure this shit out.
I feel like honestly, avocado on toast. We
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck, that was so good.
can't buy a house now. But Becky, I actually do believe loves Japan as much as me, but I feel like her love is tempered by practical plans, like she just expressed.
Yeah.
She is so meticulous and so worried about different things that she like. It's hard for her to go completely like grin happy about Japan like I do.
Baxter!
It's our friend's cat
Yeah, that's our host.
over there in Okinawa. Any other questions in there then? How do Japanese react to non-tourist foreigners? Is it hard to get jobs as a Westerner? I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that I don't need a job because we're bringing our own job over. But I don't know the intricacies of that. How are you bringing the kitties? You got to go through a very long process of quarantine. They actually still get, technically, they can be quarantined in our house, but you do have to start the process early, and we'll be starting it as soon as we get back from Japan, right after Halloween. But the flight will be... I'm nervous about the flight. It's funny because it all comes down to this 10-hour flight that I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to... Like, I feel so bad for them, but they'll be fine.
Yeah.
How will Patreon funding for AVG work with lots of shot in one time? That's a good question. The format, in fact, I might have to alter the AVG Patreon goals or rewards, and I'll have to talk to them about that. Again, they haven't paid $1, so these goals can be changed if I give everybody adequate warning if you don't like the goals anymore, the rewards jump out of the Patreon. But they will have to be changed because obviously we can't include people. Some of them were being written into the show for the $500 tier, and you can't be included in the show obviously if you haven't even paid yet or whatever. Things like that. It's gonna be interesting because like it's gonna have to change because it's not being shot on the fly, and I'm still coming up with ideas. So it will change though, you're right.
Can we send you stuff in Japan? What kind of place are you gonna get? What's the rent
People
like?
who pledge $100 have our money in escrow, so it's kind of in limbo. It's just held, right? Like Patreon, it's like a hold on your credit card. It's like, yeah, okay, you're right. That's true. If you paid a certain amount,
Oh, really?
it gets held like a hotel
shit.
would for a reservation.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Thanks for acknowledging that, because I should actually apologize to people for that then.
I did not know.
Technically, I haven't taken their money, but technically it's been unavailable to them. But technically, it's also not their money because it's credit. But technically, it also takes away
shit.
from their credit limit. So it's like kind of a thing. Thanks for telling me though, Cass. Thanks for letting me know about that. Will copyright stuff work different with music or the same way? It's funny because one of the MCNs we're currently looking at has the exclusive rights to Nintendo's content. UMMM is one of the biggest MCNs in the world, and they have an exclusive deal with Nintendo to stream their games. So it'd be funny if we ended up with them. But otherwise, I don't see how any other rights change, really. We're still uploading to YouTube, which is still an American company.
Yeah. What's the rent like in Tokyo compared to Vancouver?
Generally,
I guess we did kind of talk about this already.
anywhere from, it depends on the place you look at, I would say conservatively 30% cheaper. And this is like almost downtown. It's insane. 30% cheaper than Vancouver. I think it depends on the size of place you're looking at, but I can say as somebody who's looking for about 100 square meters or about 1,600 square feet for our show, as low as 1,400 square feet or maybe 80 square meters, maybe even smaller. Anyways, if you're looking for a multi-roomed, almost like family dwelling, which we need for the show, it's almost like we're a family, then it is about 30% and as high as 50% cheaper. In Vancouver, we for a long time considered moving a little bit out of Vancouver to like one of the surrounding communities like Burnaby, Surrey, Coquitlam. It does not get cheaper.
Yeah.
In Tokyo, the further you get, the cheaper it gets. Makes sense, right? The further from a station you get, the further walk you are from like a train station, the cheaper it gets. In Vancouver, everything is a fucking $1 million. Like, it's just, that's how it fucking is in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And rent is about the same way. Anywhere you go, it's like the same price no matter how far out you go. It's fucked up.
Ha, sorry.
So that's the thing. Like, we considered moving out of downtown to save money, and it just didn't. You could save a bit, but it didn't seem worth even the inconvenience of moving. That's how little you save.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up. It's a fucked up place. Vancouver's crazy. It's beautiful, but it's fucking crazy.
It's just outrageously expensive right now.
Mystic Knight, it's the greatest in the world, but I'll tell you once I've been there for a while and I can judge, but I've heard that it's the best in the world, the internet. Does Japan have huge regulations about not safe for work content? What are you going to do? You want to play a game that has a dick in it somewhere. Do you have to censor it? That's interesting. Technically, you might have to. Like, if there was a dick, that's a pretty rare game, but if a penis did show up, probably would have to blur it. You're not supposed to depict genitals in Japan. If you created the content in Japan, you can't depict it. Yeah.
Japan is insanely safe. We're not worried about safety in Japan at all.
That's probably the number 2 reason I love Japan so much. One is the people. I'd have to put that number 1. Second, how fucking safe it is. And that kind of ties into the Japanese people. They still have their problems like any other country, especially one that has 10 million people crammed into one metropolitan area. It's the biggest city in the fucking world. It's not a perfect place. Here I am angry about the fact that they kept a poor mongoose inside a tube.
I didn't want you to.
The good thing is they only do 3 shows a day, but it still makes me mad. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, safety. Basically, it has less crime than almost anywhere in the world.
Honestly,
I think Sweden beats it.
I'm not worried about the North Korea situation. Something happens, it happens. I'm not going to change my plans because of that.
You can't worry yourselves about that sort of. I would be about as worried about that as blowing up because of a terrorist bomb at the local subway that I'm near. The risk is there, but the risk, if you crunch the numbers, is so infinitesimally small compared to like slipping in the bathtub or getting in a car crash. You can't. The same way you can't let the terrorists win. It sucks that they can do things that hurt you, but the chances are so fucking low compared to every other danger in the world. You can't let yourself get hung up on it.
Yeah.
In addition,
I don't even.
Guys, it's North Korea. They suck. They have shitty technology compared to everywhere else. Japan is one of the most advanced. In addition, not only are they technologically advanced, America's protecting them. There are more American bases there than like almost anywhere in the world. They're still stationed there because of the war. They have so many fucking naval bases. It's gonna be fine. The fact that nuke went over Japan was because Japan let it go over Japan. They realized that the risk of shooting it down was at greater risk to them than letting it pass.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I would be more concerned about earthquakes, and that's one thing.
That's what I was gonna say.
Earthquakes.
Yeah.
A big one's coming. It's also coming here.
It's coming here. I have an earthquake preparedness kit here. I'll have an earthquake preparedness kit in Japan.
Yeah, both places.
It's gonna happen.
Places, all the way. Everybody who lives on the West Coast knows that we're all due for the big one.
Yeah.
All their places are prepared for the big one.
We're gonna go to the Olympics. Yeah.
Yes, we are definitely going to the Olympics.
We'll be there for 2020.
It's going to be amazing.
Tsunamis are
I'm so excited.
too.
Yeah, they are. And you know what?
Yep.
A tsunami hit recently and actually came up far enough into Saitama. Not Saitama Prefecture. It hit the worst. Sorry, the prefecture Chiba.
Oh, it was
It hit
Chiba?
Chiba.
It was Chiba that it hit?
It just swelled enough to go inland a bit. It ruined a lot of foundations.
Shit.
It made a lot of foundations just basically sink.
Yeah.
It liquefied the soil. A tsunami, I've done the research, a tsunami hurting Tokyo in a genuine way where people die and it really hurts Tokyo it has to be like a perfect storm scenario where not only does an earthquake happen, but it happens in this specific spot. And even then, it's only going to affect like the first it's a very low chance of anything really hurting anybody. Again, it's another one of those things you can't live like that, thinking about that. But they do know how to handle earthquakes, but apparently if you want to be super safe, don't live in an apartment building that's older than 1980 because the regulations got much stricter after that. Apartment buildings specifically, because they're the most likely to get really damaged. Houses doesn't really matter.
We did want to do a VGA con at some point, but it was too much for us to do next year.
We'd even talked about, and I'll just tell you right now, when we went to Disney, we thought it would be the greatest place in the world to do a VGA con. I even heard that Mega 64 had once done a VGA con at a Disney.
Oh, I think they do it.
It was a thought, maybe one day, but right now, we had even thought about doing it before we left. It's too much on our plate. We can't. Let me get this across. Get to PAX South. I want to see you there.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't. We just can't do it. I was trying to figure it out to do it in August, but we're getting married at the
We
beginning of
even
August,
kind of made
and
the
then-
announcement to some people at PAX. Even
Yeah.
some people at PAX Prime even found out we were moving to Japan because I got drunk and like I talk.
Yeah, we knew in Germany and at PAX
and I talk.
West.
But not very few people found out. And every time I spilled it, I was like, "Don't tell anyone. Do not tell anyone." And they were very good and they didn't tell anybody.
Thank you to those of you.
That's just one of the benefits of coming and seeing me drunk. So come to Back South. You never know what you'll find out.
We're terrible. We're terrible at keeping secrets. I'm horrible. There's been so many times where I just wanted to I've almost said something like I was talking about going to the casino during one of our episodes, and I was like, oh, I want to do that before we move.
Yeah.
And I caught myself. I was like, meow, you can't say that. PAX South will probably be emotional for us, yes.
So anyway.
Sometimes he leaks every single secret to me, says Nulani. Thank you, Nulani. It is true.
What was I gonna say? What was one of the questions though? What was it that got us started on that? About.
I was just talking about VGA Con and how we don't.
Yeah,
really
that's
have
what
time
happened. It
for
was
right now.
we really thought that we wanted to do it, and I'd also
Yeah.
been drinking when I said this to them so I wanted to make everybody excited. But I
Well,
said
we
to
really thought we were going to.
I think everybody who went to the baseball game, I said we want to do VGA Con at Disney World. But now, it just as we started to tabulate all the things we got to get done, it just doesn't make sense. But we want to one day.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. But PAX South, I would really, really say aim for. Again,
A lot
tickets
of
are still
people
available to
sadly
go to
can't
PAX
make
South.
it. I'm sorry.
But it doesn't. But it's not a big deal. It's not
Yeah, it's-
you're gonna see us. And
Oh, Jesus, kid
if anybody's
talk is-
feeling changes happen to this
while.
show, if they can do this, who
Tokyo.
knows what the sky's the limit? They might cancel the show one day. Guys, we're gonna be doing this for fucking ever. We are going to keep doing this no matter where we go. But I think what everybody needs to realize is the show is Becky and I. The guys are obviously a huge part, but we are the core, and it will come everywhere that we go.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. But don't worry about I don't know. I can't tell you what not to worry about. You can worry about what you want, but
Yeah.
Were
We fear change.
there any other questions in there?
Where are we planning on moving? And I said Tokyo.
Tokyo, and it doesn't matter where. I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as it's within an hour train to get to the center. That's all we care about. We could actually end up maybe even pretty far out. But again, everything's so accessible via subway, and it's not like we're going to be going down and doing a video in the heart of Tokyo every day. So we can actually. That's one of the reasons why, even though their landlords hate cats, it won't be so bad for us because we literally have the whole all of the prefectures to choose from any given day. So eventually, I've seen a couple listings that open up and say cat house, and it's just a cat lover who opened up his place to rent and says, acknowledges that a lot of landlords don't like cats and say, I want a person who owns a cat. So
Yeah.
eventually we're gonna find a place.
Two things. How did the guys take it when we told them? And are lonesomes gone forever? Lonesomes are not gone forever.
Lonesomes will be more frequent than
whenever
ever.
we said that, it was just the transition period. So
Yeah.
there's a period when we
Oh,
move from
did they
here.
ask long hauls gone forever?
Yeah.
Long hauls will be stopped before. The reason I want to stop long hauls before we leave is because once we go, we'll be in the square, like I said, not like this. We will be in a classic YouTuber like PewDiePie in a corner in a screen, kind of like we did when we reacted to the trailers when we were in Germany. That is only for the transition. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
obviously, it would suck
Not
to
that
do
long.
Phoenix right while in that square. We're not going to ruin a long haul, one of our classic
Long hauls
hauls.
will resume once we
Long
get a
hauls
little
will
bit more
still
stable.
look like this.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason we're stopping long hauls before we go.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we've wrapped up all our big long hauls before we go.
And how did the guys take it?
The guys, I mean, I think that they we've kind of been hinting a little
I know.
bit.
I feel like they.
I feel like
knew
we'd almost,
it was
they're almost
coming.
like in a relationship with us too. Like I said, with couples punting the idea back and forth, I had been talking and being sometimes I think that maybe what would it be like to live there, kind of thing. So it had been, but they're like, oh,
They were like, that
they're like, shit, yeah.
kind of makes sense. Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that's amazing, that's fun.
Ben was like, I want to go.
He's like, man, I want to go, and I was like,
Yeah.
they're not like the type to go or to
no.
go like
They're
you know to be angry about it. They were like, cool.
The seed had been planted, yes.
The seed was planted. They had a lot of time to acclimate to it.
And when it came to us getting married, I don't think they really cared either.
Yeah. And keep in mind, this is our lives, but for them, this is a place they come to hang out. So, like, it really, to them, it just means a little bit less drinking every so often or something. Like, I mean, obviously they're going to miss it. And I bet you they'll miss it more once we're gone than they do now.
Yeah.
They'll be like, man, it feels really weird not having one of these every month. But
Yeah. And they're gonna have to like organize between themselves to actually hang out.
yeah, to hang out.
Yeah.
Because all of the guys almost only see each other here. They have their own friends, their own social lives.
Yeah.
With people they've met through work and stuff. So this is like where we all hang out. I bet you a lot of people picture us all like all the time doing things together.
Yeah,
Like
the
great
only
old,
time we hang out is
basically
for
here.
shows.
Anyways, yeah, they're cool with it, but like they're really cool about the fact that they might get like, you know, a free trip to Japan every so often. So
Yeah. They were also asking, what about the Japanese influence on shows going forward? Like, will we show more Japanese shit on SNT or
Yeah.
SNTs, show and trailers, and
So that ties into one thing that I've been super conscious of, or tried to be super conscious of as I go on. The more I learn and more obsessed I get with Japan, is trying not to be too snobby about it. One, I hate it when people become snobby about shit, and I know that people, especially who think that they're worldly, get especially snobby. I don't want to be constantly nauseating you guys about Japan, and I think I already probably have. I brought up Japan a lot because I'm so obsessed with it, and like, I do feel like I'm going full weeaboo. I feel like I consider it to be superior to everywhere I've ever been, and that's just true. I like it more than anywhere I've ever been. That doesn't mean it's better, but I do feel like I'm full weeb now. Even though I don't even like anime or have seen any anime.
Yeah.
Which is the funny thing. I'm a very odd person to choose to go and get obsessed with Japan, because I've seen literally Naruto just because it made me laugh and I thought it was fun. But otherwise, Becky and I are pretty atypical in terms of the type of people who are being like, I'm going to move to Japan and I'm going to love it. Like, we really are kind of an odd person out when it comes to being obsessed with Japan, I feel like.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan we've watched too, of course.
yes.
I feel like we're going to bring you, I hope, a different aspect of Japan, because we very much are more about the small things, I think. We have yet to go, people keep on asking us to go to the robot show.
Oh yeah.
We still haven't even gone to Shibuya Crossing.
Yeah.
We haven't even done all the most typical things that you do in Japan. I love the small things. I love kitty hunting in small, quiet neighborhoods. I love random shrines that you happen across as you wander across small neighborhoods and see the kids coming home from school. I love the street in Japan that exclusively sells fake food to restaurateurs that Yusuke showed us.
Yeah.
He took us to the district, literally an entire district dedicated to selling
Kababashi.
fake plastic food
Yeah.
to people to show. An entire district for that. That type of stuff. So we'll be showing you the weird, but eventually we'll go do the typical.
Yeah.
But again, I hope that you never feel like that we're getting snobby, or that it feels like we're being snobby, that we are so Japanese and that we just know all these words. I feel like it would be fun to, like, if you guys were trying to learn Japanese at the same time as us. Like, I have a lot of recommendations if you felt like learning Japanese, that I would drop Japanese words every so often. Obviously saying them, but then saying the English translation or
I
something.
did that when we were in Japan, and Yusuke called me a weeb.
Yeah, Yusuke is pretty fucking...
I said "Ganbatte" to somebody. Tyler was trying to get home, and I was like, "Good luck."
Yusuke is a huge cynic, and he will call us out on being weeaboos than anybody
Yeah.
else first. I feel like.
BGA Sesame Street. That is such a weeb thing to do. Yeah.
The reason we're learning Japanese too, and we decided to do that before we even decided to move to Japan.
Yeah, we did not think this was even a consideration 2 years ago.
Yeah.
No, like 6 months ago, this wasn't even a consideration.
Basically, we decided on learning Japanese because it felt like an insane challenge, and it seemed like a lot of. It was it felt like. I think at first we never thought we'd become fluent, but I wanted to know enough to be able to go over there and just see things and understand them or whatever. Like see a sign and know what it says, or like very slowly even. And even for a while I just wanted to become as good enough to speak like a caveman to other Japanese and impress them so that I know certain words but not necessarily be able to speak fluently. Anything else, guys?
I hope so, Nightshade. Recruit Yusuke to monitor us 24/7. Yeah, the Bloodstain Kickstarter did a magical thing. Oh, that was another question. What will Patreon donations be done in? Will it be American, Canadian, yen?
It'll still be the same as it is. It'll be American Patreon donations. I've been meaning for a long time to even get rid of the PayPal buttons altogether and make everything go through Patreon. So it'll probably just go through Patreon. It'll be US funds. Somebody said, will you still be Amazon affiliate? Yes, there's no reason not to be. How will you deal with E3 showtimes? We'll be staying up late. We'll be staying up around the clock. I don't know. We have to go live when they go live. You end up recruiting friends that you make there for the show? Maybe. I don't know. Like, we'll be hanging out with people that we meet, for sure. Who knows? Are you going to be playing Overwatch with Japanese people? I'm sure the game will match me up with Japanese people more often due to ping. I think that's just a fact. Like, that you'll be matched up with Japanese people over Overwatch. I don't know. How does Overwatch determine who you play against?
I actually don't know either.
I'm sure I'll end up seeing a lot more Japanese names when I play due to ping.
You think this move is inspiring? Oh, thanks.
Go hang out with Rachel and Jun. I really like them.
Yeah.
I really rejected it for a long time looking at other J-vloggers. I was like, I don't need to see your shit. I don't want to see it. I like some of the J-vloggers a lot. I think, what's one of the more popular ones is named Charla. She's a Canadian. I would love to actually get in touch so that I can ask her any advice about being a Canadian moving over there. I think we might know somebody who actually knows her.
You're logged in?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
I don't know Simon and Martina. Sorry. But I've seen Rachel and June. I've seen a few of their videos, mostly to do with their cats. I think that's why I've watched them, is because they post videos with cats in their thumbnail, so I've been clicking on those.
Can you open a wedding registry for us to contribute to?
Simon and Martina are Canadian? All right, I should look into them then. Sure.
We don't want anything, though. We can't have anything. Like I told my family, we can't have anything because we're moving.
Good night, Nulani. Thanks for hanging out. What else, Beck? Oh, I have to pee really bad. I'll leave you with Becky for a second.
Okay. Like a wedding registry in Japan? Oh, jeez. Fraser laughed real hard. We don't need anything, guys. It's just an inevitable thing that was gonna happen anyways. I don't know. You heard Fraser laugh. Oh, that was a good question. What will happen with the old costumes? We're like scaling back. I think I'm probably gonna get rid of them. I don't know. Give them all to Disney. VGA auction, maybe. A fire sale, sell them. Yeah, I don't know. You want the Amnesia hoodie? Oh, I don't know, that's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to look at all of the things we own and realize we're gonna have to sell it all. Like, look around your house. All the things you have, like, I don't know, for me, for some reason, my stapler was the thing that I was like, holy shit, we're fucking moving. Because there's all this little stuff that we have, like, I need staplers to do my taxes, and now I'm gonna have to sell them. I don't know. It's weird. Am I scared? No, I'm not scared. I'm really looking forward to it. Fraser, of course, knows that, like, my love and excitement is more tempered than his, but I am, like, super pumped about it. I only have one stapler. But I have to sell it and then buy a new one. It's like all those little things. But we're actually saving ridiculous amounts of money because there's, again, all these things. Like our plates and shit. Like, they have like chips and stuff in them, and we'd be rebuying them anyways right now, probably. Like, there's all these things that we kind of need to.
It's also nice having a year warning because we've stopped buying a lot of stuff that we probably would have bought.
Yeah, totally.
We get to have that burger all
Oh
the
my
time.
God, that
A&W is
burger was
amazing
so
over there.
fucking good.
I love the A&W over there.
Oh God, Gaminator, we're keeping that for sure. The custom NES you got us, yeah. Like personal gifts, we're keeping that. We just might not have them in Tokyo with us right away.
There's one thing I could say that might. Here's another thing that I want to mention is one of my goals is to become.
Bro.
I want to become popular in Japan in terms of I want to get a Japanese audience. I don't care how popular it is. I just want a Japanese audience, and I want to potentially get our show translated. Along with that idea that we'll be bringing back highlight shows, or rather shorter shows, like cutting them down. So you'll still get to watch the full show, but we'll be making cut versions all the time. Then translating those so that any Japanese can watch them. That's one thing that I would like to do, and I wanted to mention. And that, because of that, there will be a potential that you'll see maybe a little less swearing on the show because Japanese are a little bit more sensitive to swearing. Swearing is kind of a thing that you do. If you do it rarely. We swear a lot, and I've actually been like telling Becky, trying to point out to Becky how much we swear. Mostly because I'm so worried about going into public and swearing. I feel like if I get comfortable there, I'm going to start swearing in public and being a shithead. Because that, like, I'm worried that I'll be a shitty person in public. Just because I talk loudly and that I will forget myself.
Yeah.
And I want to train myself almost to become If you watch these vlogs, you should listen to how soft I speak, though.
Yeah.
I almost, like, convince myself that I need to speak softly because of the place. Because of where we are and how, like, softly everybody speaks.
We have been actively
We'll
trying
still
to
swear. I think...
a bit less
But
in
just
our
maybe
like
just a
personal
little
life.
bit less, just be like, holy shit, these fucking chips, oh, they're really good. Like,
Man, that shit is fucking good.
that's pretty fucking good shit. Like, you don't need to swear that much.
Yeah.
Obviously, if rage happens, swearing is acceptable. I'm just thinking, we have become a little bit addicted to swearing.
Yeah.
And that's just a thing I've been thinking about.
That's just a personal.
It has nothing to
kind
do
of
with
thing,
anything
yeah.
but just swearing Japanese. They don't have a lot of swears. They do, but they're just nowhere near as powerful as... I think most Japanese would agree fuck is the most powerful swear word. Like, they use it sometimes as their, like, they like to say it.
How did he mention this to me first? Like the swearing thing?
I think they're
Or
just talking
moving.
about the move. It wasn't my
punted
idea.
it back and
was
forth.
both of our,
Yeah.
like, back and forth.
If anything, I feel like that morning where I was like, I think we're moving to Japan,
Yeah.
was the moment we were both like, we're doing this.
I never wanted to push her at all, and I don't even think I was ready myself. So, like, it really was a slow back and forth process where we finally started to tip.
Yeah.
Have these looped yet? Or did we just
No.
shoot that much? Holy shit. We really put
I
out
had
a lot of
just fallen.
content.
I have tears in my eyes because I had just fallen and like bashed my fucking face off the ground. Fucking face off the ground.
Yeah, my fucking
You
face.
You see?
Can I come too?
Yeah, he just drank. There was like some snake in it. How many times have we've only been to Japan twice so far?
We're about to go for our third time. There's always this fear that we'll go there and be like, wow, what were we
My hand's
thinking?
okay,
We
huh?
hate this fucking place. But that's what the second trip was. That's what this trip was after having seen it the first time. And we were like, man, I think it was just because we were so heady and like we're in a whirlwind trip and just didn't, like, I think we
Japanese.
thought bigger of it than it is. And then we went for 2 weeks and I just can't say enough about how much I love Japan.
Fuck, that was so tasty.
I can tell you guys another side benefit. Is that footage okay to show on Twitch? I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you have nipples.
Oh. One of the side things is how close we are to every other location that we've been thinking of going.
Yeah.
Japan is like a $100 to $200 flight away from Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, fucking like... See,
Captain-
once you start to think about it, the swearing. Hey?
Sorry, Captain Pete was asking about Japanese baseball. Do you have a team that
I'm
you'll...
excited. Yes, I'll talk about that in a second. Australia's closer. You are so close. The Philippines, the Thailand, like so many places are close to Japan. So we're gonna be able to. You're not just gonna see Japanese vlogs. You're gonna see us going to a lot of locations and showing you guys a lot of things. It's about equal distance to Europe, closer to Russia if that matters. I don't know. It's about the same distance to Europe though. Anyways, Japanese baseball. We've actually been deciding on a team. We're trying to decide. We know that it has to be one of the 2 Tokyo teams because we're going to be in Tokyo, so we want to actually be able to go see teams. Like, we want to be able to see the team we're cheering for if we want to, especially since tickets in Japan are so cheap. The Tokyo Giants have won more. They're like the New York Yankees there, the Tokyo Giants, so we don't want to cheer for them. That's too typical. So we're thinking we're going to cheer for... And then I looked up the Sparrows, my shallow snorkeling. I'm so bad at snorkeling, but I love it.
No, man, you were good.
We're thinking the Swallows.
Yeah.
They have the crappiest, most hilarious fucking mascot. And yeah, so we looked up him. You need to look up the
Yokohama Swallows,
Yokohama?
right?
No, that's Yokohama Bay Stars. I forget the name of. I don't even know the name of them completely. They're the Sparrows, anyways, and their mascot is hilarious. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
All the other mascots are like doing flips and cartwheels and being cute and stuff, and he's just like.
He has like this big belly, and
he just like looks around. He doesn't do anything.
Yakult?
Is it? But I thought that was the Giants. Yakult Giants.
Yakult.
Anyways, doesn't matter.
The Blue Jays, we will be following the Blue Jays still.
We'll still be following the Blue Jays, obviously.
Yeah.
Currently, Becky and I subscribe to Japanese TV, as we've said on other shows. That is in preparation, trying to get our fluency up and trying to get our ears trained to Japanese. And we've been trying to watch a little bit of Japanese baseball. They are based in Tokyo, but I don't think that's their name. It's the Yomiuri Giants and the Yakult Swallows.
Yes.
I don't even know what Yakult means, because I don't even think it's a district. So I don't even know what Yakult means. But yes, you're right. It's the Yomiuri Giants and the Yakult. I don't even know how to say that using.
Yeah, me neither.
I need to see it in hiragana to know how it's said.
Ooh, nice, Quasi. Family doctor in Japan.
Yakult is a drink. Oh, so it's just it's because it's a company. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's the SoftBank.
Right.
There's the SoftBank team, and that's the weird thing about Japanese baseball. Some of the teams don't have.
It's a brand of yogurt drink.
Yeah, they don't even have a town. They don't even have a name like that's based on the city. It's based on the brand, like a brand. There's one team that's called the SoftBank something or whatever. The SoftBank carp or something or.
Bruises all
That's
over.
hilarious. Could you imagine in baseball, instead of the New York Yankees or the Toronto Blue Jays, they were called the Roger Blue Jays or the AT&T Yankees instead of the New York Yankees? I think it's just a matter of time. I think it'll happen. But it's weird.
That ended up looking so bad. I still have a bump on my chin from that fall.
That's fucking crazy.
That was May, June, July, August, September. That was 5 months ago. Will we drive a car? Will we get a car?
No.
And we won't get a car and we won't be commuting because we'll have the studio in our...
Becky likes driving. I hate driving. I hate it. All I can think of every time I drive is just how, I hate it. I don't like it. What I love about Tokyo is you don't have to drive at all. In fact, owning a car is kind of crazy. Unless you are a delivery person or you are a correspondent or somebody who has to go from location to location for work or something, it's silly to own a car. The only people who really own cars in Tokyo either have to are a carpenter or something that drives a truck, or it's a status symbol. A lot of people consider their car to be their status symbol, kind of.
We will be biking everywhere. If we need to go places, we plan on biking and taking transit.
We're going to be buying electric bikes. Electric bikes in Japan are insanely cheap. The main creators are Bridgestone and Panasonic of their bikes. And we're looking at, particularly, I'm looking at this one Panasonic bike that's foldable, that's electric, and so that'll be the way that we get around.
Yeah.
So if we live 15 minutes from a station, like I was telling you guys earlier, the further you are from a subway station, the cheaper rent you have, and since we don't have to go to work every morning, that seems like a good place to go.
Yeah.
They have bike parking lots at every station that are quite cheap, and we will get these electric bikes that can go anywhere. Yeah, Panasonic makes bikes, but only in Japan. Go research how much it costs to buy, and this bike goes 35 kilometers before it needs a charge. Go look at how much that would cost you in America. I've looked into electric bikes since we rented them in Japan. In Vancouver, the minimum you're paying is $1,000, and that's for weird kind of sketchy brands. Like they start the good brands start at like $2,000 to $3,000. It's ridiculous. But in there, everybody has them, and they're all cheap. What's
What
up?
makes you nervous about the change?
Nothing. I don't care. I don't have anxiety. I'm a really lucky person. I don't really get
I
anxiety.
have all the anxiety.
Becky has it all.
Ask and I will be anxious about it.
I would say my biggest nervousness is how Becky will take it.
Yeah.
I want her to be comfortable. I want to make it work for Becky. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do every effort to make her comfortable and
Thank
make it
you.
work for Becky.
Thank you, Fraser-san.
The only nervousness I have is the amount of work ahead to do it.
Yeah.
The amount of work I have on my plate going forward. It's a huge amount. It's a huge undertaking. And the flight with the cats. Literally just the flight is what I'm nervous about. I just don't want to be away from them for 10 hours while they're either in the belly of a plane or with one airline, it could be in the belly of the plane, like a dog would be traveling, or on another airline, if we take a different one, it could be in a very small container under our seat, which I also don't like. And we're debating which we think is better.
Yeah. What happens if it doesn't work out? Then it doesn't work out.
Then it doesn't work out.
Come back
Then we come
to
back.
Canada.
Who knows where we come back to? Could
Yeah.
be Vancouver, could be somewhere else. I don't know, but like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. What's the
Yeah.
big deal?
That's fine.
We're ready for
Give it a
that.
shot.
That's what the adventure's about.
Yeah.
And then we just jump into Mount Fuji once it becomes active. As soon as Mount Fuji,
There is that one volcano that's going off right now. It went
Is
off
there
6
one?
years ago, and it went off just in the last couple days.
We'll
We
just
can
find
jump in
that one and we'll jump in.
Yeah.
We'll give you Skay the cats and we'll jump in.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know if you don't go.
It felt like the
that's
right
okay.
time in our lives too, guys, to make this big type of a plunge.
Yep.
Make sure to live stream it. Yeah, we will.
You're getting Paxos tickets right now. Germany didn't suck.
Germany didn't suck. Who said that you guys suck, Doublefinger? You guys are definitely different. You guys are definitely German. I didn't think you guys sucked. Just because I like Japan the most doesn't mean that Germany sucks.
Actually, that was a question I've seen a few times. Would we be doing PAX rotations? So, like, south 1 year, east 1 year, west 1 year?
I could consider rotating south and east, but the fact is, east sells out almost as fast as Prime now. If I'm going to choose a PAX, I want it to be the one that all turbos can get to no matter what. It's also got the cheapest rent. It's also the easiest place to hang out with in a big group.
Right.
PAX South is just too perfect, guys.
I know, we're kind of worried about that.
What?
If the cats can't learn Japanese. Like, we've been trying to teach them.
I've always thought that Hugo was Japanese. I always thought his eyes just looked a little bit like
Yeah.
kind of pointed at the sides. Like he looks like he's got an exotic look about him.
Yeah.
Like I've always kind of said that Hugo was Asian.
Yeah.
Neko desu.
Nekoda. We're specifically
Hey,
in
actually,
Japan.
this actually brings up another great thing about
Thank you.
Japan. They do not have these types of sensitivities towards racism.
I know.
That
Oh
type
my
of thing would be like you're just describing what a person looks like. People
Yeah.
in North America are
Oh
so
my
hung up
God.
on racism and like racist tendencies. You need to see these streeter interviews. There's some really good. What's his name? Man,
Oh shit! Yeah, the
Yuta?
guy.
Yuta.
That, I don't know.
something man Yuta. This guy named Yuta, Yuuta, goes around doing interviews of people on the street, presenting them with ideas of like racism, sexism, feminism. Like, what do you think about like white
Yuta,
people
man
who,
Yuta?
Japanese man Yuta, What do you think about white people who have yellow fever? What do you think about all these different things? They're all like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Like, there was like this thing where this little this model dressed up like a geisha, wore a kimono, painted her face, and people in America got so fucking upset. They're like cultural
music video.
appropriation. And then people did streeter interviews about it, saying, what do you think about this? They're like, it looks like Japanese culture is popular and that people appreciate it. I think that this is a positive thing.
Yeah.
And like, they don't have hang-ups. They're not as hung up. I'm not saying that everybody who has concerns here in America, that their opinions are invalid. I'm just saying that it hasn't been amplified to the
Was
point
it
of a
Katy Perry?
frenzy over
I think
there.
It might have been. There is xenophobia in Japan.
Yes, let's talk
Yes.
about that. How much I enjoy being the minority over there. Being a white person here in
Yeah,
Canada, as I
that's true.
talked about on a recent show, growing up in a neighborhood with only white people, I know one black, I've met one black person outside of our fans in my life
No,
who I could say
people
was
more
friendly
black.
with me.
Oh,
Who I
like,
became friends with.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, Dawson at my work is like the only like black guy I had the opportunity to establish a relationship with. Other races, like very few and far between. I've always been a dominant race in my country, the majority, and it's amazing being in a place where I am such a huge minority. We are so odd men out. And there is some racism in Japan. I would call it xenophobia, like somebody said, not racism. They have an aversion to foreigners, especially but they're nice to people. They just don't want you thinking that you're Japanese. They don't want you thinking that you've become them or that you've moved in or that like they're very clear about what Japanese is and what a foreigner is. You're always a gaijin there. You'll never be
Yeah.
anything but a gaijin. You'll be more than a gaijin. You can be like a person to them, but you're a gaijin. You're not a Japanese person. You could live there 60 years and you're still a gaijin.
Yeah. We will never be Japanese. Like,
It's-
we can't. We won't be Japanese.
Yeah, it's an aversion or a fear. This poor kid. Is there sexism? I've often compared modern day Japan to 1950s America in terms of like if you've ever watched Mad Men. I feel like they have a similar society. Women are people. They have the vote. Things like that. It's not like horrible. But like they have gender roles that I think are more strict or more adhered to, and I would say it goes on both sides of the genders. I think that the women are just as invested in this idea of
They have
playing
babies
into
and stay
these-
home with their kids until
Yeah.
their kids are like 7, and then they go off to school, and
Well-
then they stay
well,
home still. Or something?
and yet they want their families. If you have a daughter, you want her to go to university.
Yeah.
You want her to get educated. However, you also want her to get married and settle down and have babies. So you want her to get educated for no reason.
Yeah.
Basically in Japan. So they do have career women, but they often don't become career women. Again, I can only speak from very limited experience so far learning about Japan, but I'll have more opinions about it as I go along. But I was actually also surprised, I can say, that like going to an izakaya once, I didn't think that I would see a group of girls getting drunk together by themselves.
Yeah, that's true, hey?
Yeah.
We did see like a few instances of
Just
that.
hanging
Just
out,
like 3 girls.
Getting drunk by themselves.
Drinking.
Not as a girls' night out all dressed up like they would
Yeah.
be in America or anything, just at a pub. Just hanging out, having like chicken, gnawing it off the fucking
Yeah.
thing and getting drunk. And they were cute. And they were like, but they were just out. Why not? I think the only reason I thought why not was because I thought maybe it was some parts of it, like I said, feel like 1950s. Like it feels like you're not escorted. Like why are you out on the town if you're not a floozy?
Yeah.
That doesn't exist there, I don't think. But on the other hand,
I don't
some
think so.
things like gender roles do exist. It's really, again, I have such limited experience.
We've
I
only
shouldn't
been
be
there
speaking
twice,
about it really
yeah.
too much. It has a different feeling for sure. The same way that people are smoking like chimneys everywhere you go.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a birth crisis right now because women aren't having kids because they want to
It's
be
the
like,
reason rent is so
independent
cheap. They're not having babies,
Yeah.
and they have bad immigration. It's hard to emigrate to Japan. So they're not having babies. They're not bringing in people. So the housing market is going through the floor, and that's why it's cheap rent everywhere.
Man, we're just gonna like settle on visas for right now, and then in like
Yeah,
10
quasi.
years we'll
We'll
talk
see.
about permanent residency.
We'll see.
That's like intense.
We'll see about
it
that.
takes a lot to get that.
Although, again, and don't fucking go off on this, guys. When I think about having a kid in Japan, the idea of him being a kindergartner, him or her being a kindergartner, walking in these little groups of kindergartners.
Oh, they're so cute.
Unescorted. Dude,
Yeah.
you see kindergartners walking in fucking gangs, like they're a little gang. With no adult. Kindergartners walking to school.
Yeah.
All of
Like
them in
their
yellow
little
bucket hats with the little
and
red backpacks.
Oh my god.
Walking like an army. And it's just that safe there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Just recently in Vancouver, a man sent his kids to school on the bus saying he wanted to give them independence. I think the 11-year-old escorted the 7 and 5-year-old to
Yeah.
school.
He had
And-
been doing it with them for years. They knew the routine.
And a person on the fucking bus called the police.
Yeah.
Fuck this fucking bullshit. People getting in people's business and fuck
Yeah.
off. Anyways, what else you guys got for us? Any concerns, any worries?
Worried about Godzilla attacks. What's the difference between visa or citizenship there?
Visa means you can work and then you have to reapply every time it expires. It can expire anywhere from 1 to 3 years. It's almost a lottery system. Every time you reapply, you could get anything from 1 to 3 years visa, and it's completely seems like random. We have one friend who's gotten really unlucky, like 4 years in a row, gotten a 1-year visa, unfortunately. The roller
Well, we miss
coaster.
Canadian food. Yes.
But
I will.
the difference between visa is that visa lets you work for a bit, and then you have to reapply and prove that I'm earning money and paying taxes, and I should stay here. The other one, permanent residency, means you've been there for 10 years, and you can basically prove that you're like a contributing member, and they will give you permanent residency. You're still not a citizen, though. Keep that in mind. Meaning that you can be shipped out of the country if you do anything wrong. You get arrested, you're probably going to lose your citizenship. Or even your permanent residency.
No drugs or pot or...
Don't fuck up, basically.
Yeah. Which is easy for us. We don't smoke pot. They just asked again where specifically we'll be moving. That's kind of what this trip is for that we're leaving for in the next couple days. We're checking out neighborhoods in Tokyo.
Yeah.
It
We're looking
will
at a
be
few.
around Tokyo, though.
Yeah, it'll be near Tokyo for the interim. In the future, who knows? We might
go somewhere smaller.
We might go to another. We might live in
go to
Osaka. We might live in
yeah.
Kyoto for a while. I don't know. Like, there's lots of possibilities. But for the beginning, we want to give you guys and ourselves the true Tokyo experience.
Yeah.
Biggest city in the world. Somebody said new YouTube channel. Yes, I think I said that earlier. There will be a new YouTube channel for specifically vlogging, probably on my personal channel. I might rename my personal channel from Fraser Agar to maybe Beck and Frash or something.
Mm-hmm.
We've been thinking about names for maybe if we were to name a show. I was thinking there's a few things. Japan Awesome is one of them that could be possible. How do I get out? Oh, it's not on. Japan Awesome is one possibility.
What time next year is the transition going to be? I think that the transition period will be like August to September, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there. One other name that we were thinking was, I remember telling this old couple that we met that we loved Japan, and they were like,
Peps Coffee.
they listened and they were like, oh, Rob, Japan, because like there's no way to say love. They actually do say, they know the word love, but it's Rabu. If you wanted to say it with a thick Canadian accent or American accent, Ra-bu, but it's more like Rahu, or like Rahu.
Rob.
Rahu, Rav, Rahu. But we wanted to potentially call our show, I was thinking Rub Japan, as a reference to that fact, and that every time we do like a show or we see something new or we go and we see something new, we rub it and we say Rub Japan, and that would be Love Japan. Like that would be our show. It's called Love Japan, but also Rub Japan.
Yeah.
I rub Japan, yeah. So kind of like a double entendre, yeah, like sort of that. Becky was like, is that racist? It's like, probably to an American, not to a Japanese person. They would not consider that racist.
Yeah, I decided we'll run it by Yusuke.
Anything else, guys? You guys going to Japan? We're going to Tokyo Disney
Disney
for Becky's
Sea on my
birthday.
birthday. in a few weeks.
This trip. You'll see it. We'll vlog it.
Yeah. They do like puns. Why specifically Tokyo and not Kyoto or Osaka? We'll visit the other places, but
We'll be visiting.
Yeah.
But Tokyo, come on, it's the biggest city in the world. It is like it's a big deal. It's where the Olympics are going to be. Like
Yeah.
it's a big deal. Tokyo, it's Tokyo. That's why.
Yeah.
It's Tokyo. We're going to do all the crazy typical things before we consider going anywhere else.
I'm on the cusp between Libra and Scorpio, like bang on.
There won't be any
I'm
changes.
the 24th, so Scorpio.
No changes to merch because we don't ship it. It's all from Spreadshirt. So
Yeah.
healthcare is incredible from what I've read.
Expensive.
It's expensive, but we already pay a pretty big premium here. Their taxes,
double.
their taxes are slightly better there, so it all evens out. But their healthcare is incredible. They have public healthcare, and it's way better than Canada's. I don't know about America's. I don't know America's very well, but wait times are like nothing. I've heard that you can go to a walk-in clinic or to your family doctor one day, say that you have an ear problem, and within an hour you are at an ear specialist talking to him across town, like, you know, two stations away.
For her.
And then he could be sending you to go get x-rays within the same day.
I got my wisdom teeth out in Japan. It was $80.
Yeah. In Canada, yeah, also the government strictly controls the prices. It's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous there. But you do have to pay 25% of the cost of the procedures, which I actually think is a good thing, because it also forces people who are hypochondriacs to consider that when they go to the hospital for a cold, that they're going to be paying a little bit of money every time. Because I feel like a lot of people in Canada waste our healthcare because they know that they're paying zero.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the healthcare system gets clogged up by people
The
who
amount of people that go into Emerge at my sister and mom's hospital
For
that
no
they
reason?
worked at, it's
Yeah.
just it's
So anyways,
crazy.
But we'll tell you more about it once we've learned it. But we only know the little bit that we've Googled about it.
Yeah.
Yes, we will definitely be doing Christmas. Our first Christmas will definitely be in Japan. I don't know about
Not this year.
I don't know
next
about
year.
next year's. I don't know about later Christmases because obviously Becky will probably want to go home and stuff and see her family. But I can tell you that since we have just moved there at that point, we will be spending our first Christmas in Japan.
in 2018. This is such an awesome adventure. KFC Christmas.
Definitely.
KF Christmas.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm like, worried about. I'm like a big cooker. I love cooking, and
She has to give up the oven.
yeah, I have to give up the oven.
Very few places I've seen on the rental sites have an oven. They have stovetops. But we also love the slow cooker, so we'll just have to double down on
We're gonna
slow
get a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Get our slow cooker.
But yeah, ovens are a bit more of a rarity there. They have small ovens you can buy.
I could never give up baking. Bring your Santa suit. Fraser will kill it during
They have
Christmas.
many toaster ovens. In fact, one of my favorite products that we've ever bought is a toaster oven by Panasonic that I've actually thought about making a vlog about, because if there's any one product I can recommend more, it's our toaster oven that we own.
Honestly, sorry. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's good shit. I don't see costumes making a big comeback since we'll be in Japan and having more time. I don't see it being a big thing like it used to be.
Let me tell you a little bit about what I've been considering lately, because we've been just, almost by coincidence, I feel like, this month inundated with paid opportunities to play games and review products. I've had about, in the last week, 3 to 4 offers to, and I've turned down offers in the past also for things that I didn't think fit the show. One of the things that we're considering, I keep on, every time they approach us, they say, how much to play the game or whatever. And I'm like, how much do I come up with? What? I don't know how much. And then I realized, technically, any of these companies could go to our Patreon and sponsor an episode for $500 and get us to play their game. So I go by that rate or whatever, and I say $500, I guess. And if you want all the guys, then you have to pay $150 for each of them, I guess. And then I actually had one of the people that recently contacted me say, he doubled the price and he said, I'm going to pretend you said this because I have a bigger budget than that. And I was like, well, thank you, sir. I don't even know if that's going to go ahead. But anyways, One of the things I was thinking is that would be a thing that we offered to, if we tried to attract more companies that wanted to pay, that Becky's abilities to make costumes, like she did for the Turtles episode that was paid, where we played Turtles for the movie, that would be a thing that is paid for. Obviously, we're going to continue to do costumes for our very big long hauls, like
Well, yeah, like Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix Wright will still have costumes. Our very big deal games, our classics, our memorable ones, but it's nothing really changes in terms of. We made the decision a long time ago that the only way to continue to do the we always, during the transition period where we said we should do less costumes and do more games, we were like, how do you make that decision? Which one deserves costumes and which one doesn't? What the conclusion we finally came to, and you can thank one of your most requested games being Borderlands by Telltale, is the greatest casualty to the fact that we don't do costumes anymore. It is the last remaining bastion of costume making for the show, where we said, and it's in limbo right now, she's still making them over time. Becky has a busy life, though.
I'm so fucking close.
Yes, she's still working on them, but the fact was, that is the greatest example of why we don't do costumes anymore. We can cover games when we know we don't need to do costumes for them. Costumes were great. They were great for the time in which we needed, we gained an audience because of how it made us stand out. Costumes were amazing. But the way that we want to do the show, the way we want to cover more games and do more shows, and I think we've been doing more shows than when we got rid of costumes. We go live more often because we know we don't have to do costumes. Long story short, it'll continue like this. Rarely will we do costumes. We just want to do shows. And we're only 2 people.
Yeah.
We're just 2 people.
And we will never hire people to help us with it. I won't. I wouldn't do that.
The show's got its heart. Yeah, we still got our heart. It's still us.
Speaking of costumes, right now I'm working on this South Park ones for tomorrow, like busting my motherfucking ass to get this done. So we do still.
Costumes were a huge stress factor.
Holy
they were
shit.
big.
We fight
in contention too, because
so much when we do costumes. Like, it was good for our relationship to stop doing costumes.
I'm a perfectionist, and yet I'm
very sensitive.
And she's creatively sensitive.
And doesn't see colors the same way as Fraser sees colors.
And I'm also, for me, it's all or nothing. If you're gonna do it, you do it perfectly in the way that I see it. And yet my vision only seems to come out once she's completed a project. Once she's gotten a thing done, I can look at it and I can be like, and only then can I see what's wrong. I don't, so
Fuck.
It's not.
And by then I'm done and I'm like, no dude, no changes are being made. I'm not even showing you the costumes for South Park.
Self-awareness is a good thing, and we are self-aware.
Yeah.
However, in my defense, often when I've told you some things, you've been quite proud of the. You've even told me in the past, said, "I'm glad you made me do this."
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Becky
After swearing at you for 2 hours and being like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Because I just worked on this for so long, and this is going to be another 5 hours."
But with no arm twisting from me, she has actually told me before, been like, "I'm glad you told me to do that because I'm so proud of like how that came out because you made me do those changes." And like, she felt like she wasn't capable of a certain thing, and I told her
there's lots of things that like.
And I've been like, "You can do this." Like,
Fraser thinks I can do, and I think I can't, and I was like.
Some of her most proud costumes.
Like Octodad.
Octodad was one
There's
thing
no
where
way I can do that.
I kind of forced her to do it and modify it multiple times until she came up with a couple of Octodads where the tentacles looked like almost like hair. They were so thin.
Yeah.
And then she like I said, that's just Becky. That just doesn't look right. That just doesn't look right. It looks like hair. It looks like weird hair. And then she finally did it, and she was so proud of how it ended up coming out.
That's it.
And she was mad when she did it, when she was redoing it. But when it finally came out, she was so proud. Anyways, any other questions about Japan? This is just general show stuff. Let's concentrate on Japan.
Okay. No, if you told me to use my best confidence, I would rip his head off.
To wrap it up, costumes should be rare. They should be a special thing.
Yeah.
Especially if we get show sponsors that, like, you know, big companies will make costumes then for sure.
Yeah. Awesome Piece Theater questions?
I think I said, like, there could potentially be more Awesome Piece theaters because Becky and I are going to be watching a lot of anime, Japanese films potentially, but just generally, we might even watch some, like, new films as they come out on Blu-ray or whatever, maybe, and you'll be privy to it.
We haven't gotten our visas yet. We have looked into them.
Does Japan have Pepperidge Farm
I think we
goldfish?
can do it. It
Ask
will
them.
be difficult, but
Tweet them.
we can do it.
The visas, as I said earlier, 3 different avenues. Self-sponsored entertainers visa, MCN, multi-channel network sponsored entertainers visa, or business manager's visa by starting your own video production company in Japan. This is a 100% absolute decision. We're moving to Japan. We will get visas. It's just how
Yeah.
and how much work it will be.
We will definitely have a last big Awesome Piece Theater show and trailer closer to the moving date, like next summer. Yeah. This announcement will be posted to YouTube for sure.
We'll still do older movies, Bundra. Alice, that's interesting that you asked
Yeah.
that. That's one of the things that we thought if we were to split off and do another show that was dedicated to Japan and do a separate channel with a separate Patreon, one of the Patreon goals or one of the Patreon tiers would be called omiyage, which is Japanese for gift. Basically like trinket or a souvenir that you bring back to people after you've been to a place. That one of our tiers would be a tier where you pay a certain amount and you come shopping with us. We live stream from the streets of Tokyo as we walk to different shops, and you basically through the chat say, go to that store in the distance. I want you to go to this store. We go there and we look through the shelves and buy you a thing and send it to you. Mm-hmm. We pack it up and we send it to you. Or maybe even
Ooh,
you
I like
say,
that.
go to that crane game and win me a prize, and we will try to win you a prize and
That would
send
be
it
amazing.
to you.
I'd pay for that tier. Sounds really cool. They like it.
It would probably be expensive. It would probably be like over $100 because, again, that's a lot of time dedicated, and I feel like we would have a lot of people. I feel like we would get too many slots for the amount of time we have to do it. In addition, you know, the cost of sending it and
Aren't there
all these
robots
things.
for that?
But we have a lot of ideas, and we're open to your guys' ideas for what you would like to see from a show that we do in Japan.
I don't think need anime recommendations. I am already, like, I think we're overwhelmed with anime recommendations.
We're gonna focus
right now,
on what's
right?
most culturally important to Japan.
Okay.
The most culturally important animes we want to watch. One Piece is massive. I can tell that just by walking through the streets of Tokyo
Yeah.
how big One Piece is to Japan's anime culture, and yeah, we've already seen most of like the early Naruto before they grow up, so that's good. We've and now we want to watch One Piece. Dragon Ball, sadly, I guess we should invest some time in. We want to watch a lot of the less animes, if that makes sense. Like some of the family animes. We want to watch some of the kids animes, like the one with the little that fucking creature that pulls out inventions from his fucking pouch.
Yeah.
He's blue and he has like ears. He's like a cat. He's fat.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Like stuff that's like kind of day-to-day anime that kids in anime. Doraemon. We want to watch like that. We want to watch the anime with the little green-haired girl. I want to read that manga, actually. We want to watch stuff that's culturally important to Japan first.
Right.
That's our biggest priority.
Another question they
Ghibli
had
stuff for sure.
was, will the guys be coming to PAX South? I don't think so.
It's a possibility, but I'm not.
So hard to get them to get time off.
Yeah, this is the thing. Money's not as big of an issue as their availability is.
Yeah.
Kyle has a family.
Really, Deacon
and Ben have a family. They have significant others that they're really dedicated a lot of their lives to, and these, like, it's a big proposition to bring them away from places. They have jobs.
Yeah.
Money isn't as big of an issue as the amount of time we take from them. So if I'm going to take time from them, it will be to bring them to Japan, so that they can come and do shows with us, so everybody can benefit. Mm-hmm. Anything else, guys?
I think we're getting there, man.
I think we're getting there. I think these guys have been exhausted. They're scrounging now to ask any more questions. I hope we've answered all your questions. I'm going to, again, do a vlog before we leave, maybe even from the airport. I don't know. I'm going to talk about these things a little bit just from my heart so I can talk directly to you about stuff. We love you.
They were wondering if there could be like a Q&A session in the forums.
Yeah,
If
maybe
we would deal with
if you
questions
want.
from
I
there.
don't make any promises about answering everything because I don't want to feel bogged down on one side, especially since I don't know the answers to a lot of things. But go ahead. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Eventually
Eventually we'll visit the island of cats
Definitely.
and foxes and all
Definitely.
that stuff.
There is a tropical island cluster 1 hour boat ride south of Tokyo. The country's incredible. It's insane how close everything is of every kind. Look at these women back there in kimonos.
Yeah.
That's not crazy. That's not like something everybody stares and be like, oh my god, they're dressed in kimonos. That's a thing that people do and it's not a big deal. They just go around because it feels fancy. It's like dressing in a nice dress that day. Men too.
They wear what's it called? Something. Thank you for those of you that are excited. We still have another year for it to settle in. My cousin's girlfriend hit the bacon pretty hard when I told her.
Hit the bacon.
Yeah, she like kept going to. I have emergency bacon in the fridge, and she's like, "This isn't real. This isn't real." She's really bad with change, and she's like, "I gotta get some bacon." And she went to the freezer and would eat some bacon and come out. And she's like, "You're not really thinking about doing this, right? I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get some more bacon."
I think this is especially tough on Becky because she loves her cousin
My cousin's my
and
bestie.
Doobie.
Yeah, and her girlfriend.
Doobie's
Fuck, man, that's gonna be
partner.
goddamn rough on me.
Yeah, and leaving them is going to be a big deal because they live right in the city with us, and that's like that's the biggest change. Is like the family. I really believe you're not going to see any less of, and it's going to feel no different
Yeah, no, my
once you
family
settle
in Ontario.
Once you
I'll
settle
see
in,
the
it's not
same
going to feel
amount.
any different.
Yeah.
But for
No,
them,
it's cooked bacon. It's just
it will feel a bit different with them.
without them, yeah.
I want you guys to know how big of a deal this was for us today to tell you. You guys feel like a member of the family. You feel like it felt like it wasn't complete until we told you.
Yeah.
We've been really building up this day a lot.
And thinking about the best way to present it to you guys too.
Yeah.
I hope that you're
We've been really worried about this.
okay with
and,
how we presented it.
I've been more nervous to tell you than my family. and
That I definitely believe.
and so I'm glad that like a lot of you are happy. And I want this to work for you guys, and we're going to work with you guys to make sure that, because you guys, I want to acknowledge the fact that you guys have invested a lot in our show. Like, not monetarily, but just in your time. There are a lot of shows that you could watch, but you've chosen us, and you've chosen this family to be a part of. And I know that any change here isn't trivial to you, because, like, this is something that you want to sit down with every so often, and you want to feel at home, and we want this to continue to feel like home. So we're not going to make this too abrupt. We're going to try to make it a transition and make you still feel like we are still who we are. You're still a part of it, and we're all part of it. Growing together into the future.
Yeah.
And we want thank you for your support going forward as well, because this would not also be possible without your support.
We rub you.
We would never feel, I think that, like, when I think back on how nervous we were to move out here to Vancouver, the number one thing that made us worried was the fact that, like, we weren't making a lot of money. The show wasn't stable.
Yeah.
We have so much stability these days in our lives, not because of YouTube. Fuck that fucking bullshit. You guys have made it stable because of Patreon, and I feel like we can do something adventurous like this, and that we have the best job in the world. We can go anywhere and do it anywhere, and we want to. And again, we're gonna bring you with us. You're not gonna see any. You are gonna see so much more from us. Believe me. I'm going to feel there's something about living here and having been here for so long. It's like you need a blank slate. We've lived here for so long. I've thought many times about vlogging more, about showing you more of our lives. There's the time even when I got the trikes, I was like, I want to vlog about this and show them the trikes and give them a trike tour and then like go around Vancouver. There's something about having been here for a while that it feels like it's almost like changing schools or something. Like you can become a new person when you go to a new place or something. And it feels like that. Like it feels like it just feels unnatural to suddenly start doing that here. I feel like when we move, we're going to not become
It'll
different
give us,
people,
like,
but it's going to give us this room to
energy,
grow.
like a different energy, I think.
That's what I believe. And that's what we want. We want you guys to come along with it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I guess that's it. And we're going to keep you guys updated. And I guess one of the other reasons why we wanted to do this show.
No.
What?
I never thought in a million years I'd move out of Canada.
Never.
Let alone to Japan. No.
I started this show by saying, like, we never thought about Japan. We never cared. We were this far from weebs as you can get. We never really cared. And then it was just, we got bit by the bug. And anyways, what was I going to say? Oh shit, I lost. What was I going to say?
What was he saying, guys?
Something about... Shit. Anyways, I thought it was important though.
How you love
I
us?
love you. The reason you did today's... Yes, I did today's show because I want to start vlogging now. I feel like there's so much I want to talk to you guys about the thought process and the process of moving to Japan. I wanted to be really open about it and like show you every step of it, like kind of. I want to show you what it's like, our transition going there. And so I want to start vlog, and I couldn't until I do this.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing, is we're going to like be vlogging and talking about our trials and travails and, you know, how our progress is learning Japanese through our different methods. I'm learning online, Becky's learning through classes. We will I think we're going to try to open up a bit and like do more vlogs. And I think right before we start to leave, maybe we're going to show you more of Vancouver and try to almost as a farewell show you everything. And towards the very end, maybe show you our neighborhood and even our house and where we grew, like basically spent 10 years on our street.
Yeah.
And all these things towards the end as we feel comfortable with it. I just spit really big.
Yeah, you did. It feels like complete and ready.
It feels like it's in a package.
I'm so happy that we've discussed this with you guys.
It was good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And a studio tour, I promise, will happen before we go. You will get to look behind the curtain finally, and then you'll immediately get another one when I get to Japan, and you'll get a studio tour there too.
Wow.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being with us on this very special day. And
we love you.
We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow for South Park.
Oh,
right before we head to Japan for our October Japan trip. Goodbye.